No 100 Days series is complete without a full-length movie, so welcome to the Swaggy Stardew Valley experience you've been waiting for. In this video, you can watch my whopping 242 days of gameplay on Drip Farm, where we don't just work towards perfection, but also transform from dressing in the dark to dressing to impress, from drab to fab. Whether you're tackling your real-life to-do list or tending to the digital crops on your own farm, let this video be your perfect backdrop. In the original videos, I set some goals for myself to help me with my fashion quest, so keep your ears peeled for the celebratory sound. That's when you'll know I've hit a major milestone. You'll find the links to the mods I used and the 100 and 200 days videos in the description, and you might want to consider subscribing if you like what you see, since my next 100 days series is in the making. Alright y'all, let's jump right into my Vogue venture, and thanks so much for watching. On the first day of spring, I wasn't setting any trends yet, when I cleared some land, chopped enough wood for a chest, and got to planting. Then I scythed all the weeds around town for a chance at mixed seeds and picked up any forageables I could find. I got lucky and found my first artifact next to some spring onions. Thank you, good sir. I went through my first trash cans, I went to find the garbage hat, then went to Pierre to buy a single green bean seed. Since I'm playing on the Four Corners farm, I was easily able to get my first copper ores from my little quarry. I got attacked by my first foe on the farm, and since I didn't have a weapon yet, I quickly finished my planting, ran to go get forageables I couldn't pick up before, sold almost everything, and decided to head to bed. Got level 1 foraging. Clint visited me on the morning of day 2 and taught me how to craft furnaces. Thanks, but never come back here. And stay away from Emily. I quickly watered my crops, chopped enough wood for a second chest, then headed towards the beach. That's where I met Willie, who gifted me his old fishing rod. After putting the chest down on the pier, I fished until 9 AM when he opened his shop, and I bought the training rod. Right before he closed, I sold all my fish and bought the fiberglass rod and as much bait as possible. Then I continued to fish, and stayed at the pier until I passed out. I reached levels 1, 2, and 3 fishing. It was the obligatory rainy day 3 when I made a chest and put it next to the river, where I would be fishing that day. I sold all my fish from the day before to Willie to buy tons more bait, then went to the river to fish the day away. My goal was to get to level 5 fishing and choose the fisher perk. The catfish catching went awfully, but I managed to catch 6 by the end of the day. The only other notable thing that happened was that I got a treasure chest with a diamond and an ornamental fan. Cool. I love it when a plan comes together. After watering my crops on day 4, I went to town picking up all forageables and a Hope Wanted quest to give Daddy Willie a dandelion. I found a gold star daffodil that I gave to Caroline, then went to the lake to put down a chest and fish. I met Sebastian in the evening and we hung out there together for a while. I showed him how to fish and he showed me how to smoke without coughing. I fished until I passed out and reached level 6 and 7 fishing. Marnie brought me my little baby Prada on day 5. Hello! I picked my parsnips and watered the rest of the crops, then crafted a second chest since the first one was getting full. The traveling cart was here for the first time today. I thought a lot about getting the snow yam she was selling, but decided against it. It was pretty pricey, and I didn't know if I'd need it since the bundles are remixed. Instead, I sold a lot of fish to Willie and gave him his dandelion for 120G. Lewis let me into the community center for the first time, and it was a real fixer-upper, but I could see the potential and was looking forward to bringing my flair to it. After looking at the scroll I couldn't read, I sold most of the parsnips and some other knickknacks to Pierre and got a backpack upgrade and 11 potato seeds. They were swiftly planted and watered, then I went to the lake and fished until I passed out again. That night I got level 1 farming. Another day, another chest, this time for the mines. I finally got to cuddle Prada for the first time, then had an audience with the wizard. He seemed a bit strange, but I couldn't help but to admire his style. He taught me how to read Junimoish, then I was off to the mines with all the chups I had caught over the past few days to sustain me. When I got there, Marlin introduced himself and gave me a glorified toothpick he had the audacity to call a sword. While I was down there, I tried to kill all bugs for an anciency drop, or at least the bug meat for bait, I guess, and quickly found a special slime with a glow ring, which made me very happy. I also got a diamond from a Dougie. By the end of the day, I had made it down to level 16 and got just enough copper for a furnace and 5 copper bars. Got level 2 foraging, level 1 mining, and level 1 combat. It was raining on day 7. I crafted a furnace and tried to smelt my first copper bar. I couldn't decide what to give Lewis for his birthday, and I thought quartz was a universal like, so I chose that. At the community center, I handed in the spring forage, completing my first bundle. Thank goodness snow yam wasn't part of the winter foraging bundle. I also handed in a parsnip for the spring crops and saw that I had gotten the fish farmer and rare crops bundle. When I found Lewis, I gave him the quartz, which he apparently hated. Good choice, me. The traveling cart lady didn't have anything great, so I went to the river to fish. I was hoping to catch lots of catfish, but they kept getting away. On a good note, I did manage to fish up glass shards, a skeletal tail, and a rusty cog in treasure chests. Got level 8 fishing that night. It was raining again on day 8. I planted the 30 spring seeds I had gotten yesterday and finally made my first scarecrow. I went catfish fishing again and was much more successful today, getting 16 catfish by midnight. At that point, I was out of bait, so I decided to head home before passing out for a change. The first wilderness golem showed up on my farm. I got excited and tried to slay it to have a chance at the living hat, which only has 1 in 10,000 chance to drop from killing wilderness golems, which is still a much higher chance than getting it from scything fiber, which is only 1 in 100,000. But I passed out while fighting it. Level 9 fishing. Day 9 would be important. Gunther gave me cauliflower, melon, and starfruit seeds for all the things I had donated to him. Then I headed down to Willie and sold enough fish to buy the iridium rod, some trout soups, trap bobbers, and more bait. I made sure to save enough money to get a copper axe upgrade from Clint. I quickly left that creepy man, went to the lake, ate my trout soup, and fished for the legend. It didn't even really put up a fight, to be honest, and since it was only about midday, I went down to the river and fished for more catfish. I did a whoopsie and passed out while fishing without getting a level up. Day 10 was Vincent's birthday. After planting the cauliflower seeds and watering my crops, I decided to clean up my farm a bit. I went into town to donate everything I could to the community center and realized I hadn't caught river fish in town yet. There were 2 perfectly good daffodils on the ground, so I gifted 1 to Caroline and 1 to Vincent. After that, the sunfish and smallmouth bass were quickly fished up, and I just went back to continue cleaning up the farm. At the end of the day, I had reached level 2 mining from cleaning up all the rocks. Day 11, it was raining again, and it was a really good luck day. My potatoes and the first green bean were ready to be harvested. I was torn between the mines and fishing, but I just had to take advantage of the catfish. So while I was waiting for 9 o'clock to roll around, I checked the trash cans in town, then received my new copper axe from Clint and went straight back to the river to fish. I only took a quick break to get Robin's lost axe and catch an eel at the beach. I got it on my first cast, then went straight back to the river for more catfish, and even got 4 rubies from a single treasure chest. Still no level up in fishing, so I went back to the farm to be in bed by 12. Day 12, I made some room for the strawberries I would be getting tomorrow, and finally sold the oodles of fish I had saved for this occasion. I was already on my way to the mines when I remembered the traveling cart was here. God is good. Even though I didn't know if I would need it, I bought the cabbage seed, put it in a chest so I wouldn't lose it, and skipped happily to the mines. Progress was kinda slow, but on level 24 I broke open a crate that had the forest sword in it, which would definitely speed things up. Made it down to level 29 and got level 3 mining at the last second before passing out. Day 13 was the big day. When I walked outside, Demetrius was waiting for me, and I chose the fruit bats. #Team Edward. I didn't have the time or energy to finish prepping everything for the strawberries, but I made sure to take a freshly grown cauliflower and a green bean with me. After talking to everyone and buying 150 strawberry seeds, I spent some time dreaming of days when I could change my whole outfit, not just my hat. Then, the hunt was on. I must have been feeling the pressure, because I just barely got enough eggs to beat Abigail. But the first piece of swaggy clothing was mine, the straw hat. I was transported back to my house at 10 p.m., put on my lovely new hat, then went straight to the community center and handed in the missing vegetables to do the old get 20 speed grows from the spring crops bundle in order to get a third harvest from some of the strawberries trick. I ran as fast as my little legs could carry me to put down the speed grow and the seeds and went to bed. On day 14, I went outside to plant the rest of my strawberries, having to eat multiple chubs to get the job done, and crafted 2 more scarecrows. The traveling cart lady had a truffle for 3,125 G. I decided I had some gold to spare and got it just in case I needed it. I also realized that I still had to gift Haley for her birthday. I only had a green bean on me, which was what I would have to give her to even make it to her in time. I had this sinking feeling it wouldn't be a great gift, and yeah, no. I got level 3 foraging that night, which meant we can now make tappers. Perfect. Day 15 was pretty uneventful. I was able to harvest the 30 spring seeds, then decided to make more and plant them on the open tilled spots. I watered everything as fast as I could, then went to the mines on this good luck day. It went well, and I got some pretty good drops, including another glow ring. I made it down to level 45 by the end of the night and passed out in the mines, getting level 2 combat. It was another rainy day on day 16. I made 2 more furnaces and smelted more copper bars. I decided to chop down trees and hardwood stumps until I hit level 4 foraging because it's salmonberry season, and I want 2 berries per bush. I brought my pickaxe and 5 copper bars to Clint to get an upgrade, then headed to the river to fish for more catfish, because why not? At about 9 p.m., I decided to walk around the cindersap forest to get all the salmonberries and forageables, and tried to get back to bed before 2 a.m. to avoid the gold penalty, but I fell asleep amongst the slimes and strawberry crops. I got level 4 foraging and level 10 fishing and went with the pirate perk, because I just can't resist surprises. The spirits were perturbed on day 17, and my pickaxe was upgrading. So after watering everything, all I did for the rest of the day was clean up more around the farm. At some point, I started to get attacked by a bat and only had my scythe, so I made a mad dash for my chest to get my sword. I really need to remember to keep it with me from now on. Towards the end of the day, I went into Cindersap Forest to gather more salmonberries and was back in bed by midnight. On day 18, my pickaxe was finished upgrading. I watered all crops, and can't wait to never have to say that again, and saw Pam on the way to Clint's, handing her a parsnip for her birthday, which she loved. After getting my pickaxe, I picked up a few daffodils and gave one to Evelyn and the gold star one to Caroline. I also got an eel from a trash can. In the mines, I slayed all the dust sprites and mined all the iron ore I could find. I got combat boots from the chest on level 50 and another glow ring from a slain ghost. Like game, I get it. You want me to shine as bright as my designing talent will be someday, but I have enough glow rings now. Thank you. I made it down to level 56 by the end of the night before passing out again. Level 4 mining. Day 19 was a good luck Friday, and I went on across. I went down to the traveling cart, saw a battery for 1500G, and decided to buy it so I could complete the boiler room today and get the minecarts unlocked. I got Clint to open as many geodes as I could, and donated all the gems and artifacts I had to Gunther. Can you really sell these? After finishing the boiler room, I got a small magnet ring and 2 furnaces as rewards. I don't know what's happening here. I took a look at the bulletin board bundles and felt like a prophet. Both the red cabbage and truffle were needed, so my traveling cart purchases had paid off. The Junimo put the star up and we celebrated together before I headed to the mines. I made it down to level 64, where I had to choose between a ladder down to level 65, which would give me the next elevator, and smashing the big pile of barrels. I chose the barrels because, like I said, I can't resist surprises. It wasn't worth it. That night, the Junimos repaired the minecarts and I got level 3 combat. Y'all, day 20 was rainy again. I came outside to find the first 20 strawberries ready to be picked. There were some forageables for the crab pot bundle on the beach that I picked up before I headed to Willie's and sold everything to him, including a chub I wanted to hand into the community center. I went to the community center again to hand stuff in, including the truffle, completed the construction bundle, and got a charcoal kiln, which I never use. I found Shane at Joja and was torn between giving him a daffodil or a strawberry for his birthday. I decided on the daffodil, which was a mistake. I paid Clint to upgrade my hoe to copper, then went back to the river for catfish money. The Queen of Sauce taught me how to make radish salad on day 21, one of the only reasons anyone would ever plant radishes. After picking strawberries, I decided to craft my first 2 tappers and put them on the oak trees at the bus stop. That day, the traveling cart was selling a pumpkin, which did tempt me, since that's normally the last thing I have to hand in to the pantry room. I decided I needed to save money, so I didn't get it. But I must say, the traveling cart lady has really been pulling through on this save file. The rest of the day was dedicated to getting deeper in the mines. I got a coffee bean from a dust sprite, and made it down to level 74, where I passed out. Level 3 farming, and level 5 mining. Chose the miner perk. It was a super good luck day and raining again on day 22. Guys, I don't think I'll be getting any rainy days in summer. This is ridiculous. The majority of my strawberries and all of the spring forageables I had planted were ready. Clint opened some geodes for me and agreed to upgrade my axe to steel. Gunther forked over 9 pumpkin seeds and a rare crow for the minerals I gave him. Then I bought 30 potato seeds from Pierre and went back to the farm to plant them together with the coffee bean from the mines. I was very tempted to go fishing for more catfish, but I badly needed ores, since I could smell level 6 farming coming up soon and I wanted to put down sprinklers as soon as possible. Thanks to the super good luck, I got tons of iron and gold and 2 bone swords, which were great weapon upgrades. Got level 4 and level 5 farming and chose the tiller profession, as well as level 4 combat. Thankfully, day 23 was a good luck day again, so after watering the crops and smelting some gold bars, it was back to the mines. A squid kid dropped a squidding for me, which I would need for the fish farmer's bundle. I also found a tempered broadsword in a barrel and got to floor 100, where a star drop filled my mind with thoughts of ice. Get it? Like expensive jewelry. I made it all the way down to level 108, where I passed out, as has become tradition. Level 6 mining. Everything was going wonderfully on day 24. I picked some strawberries, which put me over the threshold to level 6 farming. The flower dance festival was on, but watering everything took too long, and I didn't really feel like standing in the corner after having given everyone the most awful gifts anyway. I thought I'd be smart by putting my 5 furnaces next to the lake. I could do some multitasking by smelting and fishing. Then, disaster struck when Sebastian came along and walked straight through all of my furnaces. I did everything just like before, but was a bit quicker since I already knew my route. When I got to the lake, I put the furnaces at the very bottom, in the hopes that no one would decide to stand there. When Sebastian arrived again, I bullied him and gave him a salmon berry as punishment. Got level 6 farming that night and finally had access to sprinklers. Hallelujah. I got straight to work crafting and putting down sprinklers on day 25. I can't see what I'm doing. Why is it like this? I watered everything by hand for the last time and decided to craft a few more sprinklers since I still had some bars left over and I would want to increase my crop size in summer. After getting my steel axe from Clint, I gave Caroline another daffodil and stopped by the saloon, where I apparently talked to Gus for the first time, finally completing the introductions quest. Sorry, my dude. The axe was put to work on my farm right away, where I just chopped wood for the rest of the day. That night, I got level 5 foraging and chose the Gatherer perk. Day 26 was the 9th rainy spring day, so my sprinklers couldn't show off their skills yet. There were lots of strawberries to be picked, which was very nice. A whole red cabbage? You're spoiling me. But I have a seed, so I'll pass. I was able to get into the secret woods with my new axe, where I found tons of horseradishes and 1 morel that thankfully turned into 2 because of my new foraging perk. I wasn't sure what to give Pierre for his birthday, but I finally wanted to give someone a present they liked. So I decided on a diamond, which I assumed he would be pleased with. He was. I could hear the siren song of the catfish, so I went to the river for the rest of the day. On my way to bed, I was finally able to slay my first wilderness golem on the farm, but it didn't drop a living hat. Got level 7 farming. Day 27, I relished in seeing the sprinklers in action. At Pierre's, I walked into my favorite cutscene of the game. I didn't take the tea leaf. It fell off and whooshed into my backpack, that's all. Next, I went to Clint to open geodes and donated a few things to the museum. I decided to take the 2 painting rewards with me to see if you could really sell them. It turns out you can't. And that'll have to do, I guess. I wanted to get my foraging up to level 6 in time for summer to be able to make lightning rods, so that's the skill I worked on for the rest of the day. While I was in the secret woods, I slayed 3 slimes, so although I didn't get a level up in foraging, I did get level 5 combat. I also found Linus going through the trash cans and told him there was nothing wrong with dumpster diving. I'm right there with you, buddy. The last day of spring started off wonderfully. I got the tea sapling recipe in the mail, so I immediately made as many as I could, then picked my last spring crops. I decided to ship as much as possible since I would need money for summer crops tomorrow. I caught a wood skip in the secret woods on my first cast, then decided to spend the rest of this very good luck day in the mines, farming copper and fiber and hoping to get an ancient seed drop from a bug. I got the Monster Slayer goal for killing 125 of the suckers, but none of them dropped the seed. That night, I got level 7 mining and level 6 foraging, which meant lightning rods. Day 29 was the first day of summer, and I was hoping this would be the season I could finally kick off my career as a designer. I was super sad to see all the dead strawberries, but got to work scything everything down, tilling and watering all the spots that had to be fixed, and went into town to buy seeds. 1 tomato, 3 peppers, 1 of each flower, 10 hops, 1 corn, 1 sunflower, a few melons, and 223 blueberries. Back on the farm, I started planting everything and realized I'd have to make more sprinklers, since I had bought too much. Since I still felt rich, I decided to get the last backpack upgrade from Pierre's and upgrade my pickaxe to steel at Clint's. I spent the whole rest of the day tilling, planting, and watering everything. On day 30, I felt extreme relief to see all the crops watered by my sprinklers, so my watering can went straight into a chest. I found a grape and a sweet pea and handed both of them into the community center, completing the summer forageables bundle and getting 30 summer seeds in return. I headed to Robin's, but was a bit early, so I had to wait. These flowers are nice. It was a Tuesday, which meant I had to wait until she walked past her cash register on her way to her aerobics class. This is less pretty. When trying to pick a new spot for my coop, I saw a slime on my farm, then went down to the ocean to fish the day away and catch the new fish. Digging through the trash on my way there, I was reprimanded by Lewis. I wanted to get the summer legendary fish out of the way, so I headed to the bottom of the eastern pier. I caught the crimson fish right away, then spent the rest of the day there. Lewis asked me to get his purple shorts on day 31. Maybe he thinks trash rummagers are good at doing such dirty deeds. I saw that my steel pickaxe was ready at Clint's, so I took 5 copper bars and my watering can to go see him and handed them in return. Ooh, cool. I got to work deforesting all of Cindersap Forest when I passed by the Hat Mouse and decided it was finally time to change up my look. I bought the good old cap because I thought it might be something a lumberjack would wear and looked quite snazzy, if I do say so myself. I felt very good about what I had done while walking home through the barren forest, then continued the deforestation on my own farm. I found another wilderness golem, but still didn't get the living hat. Big surprise. Day 32, my coffee plant was ready to be harvested for the first time. When I visited Robin working on the coop, the slime was still there. It would be a cute farm mascot, but I decided it would just get in the way, so I killed it with a heavy heart. Sleep tight, sweet prince. There had been a strange noise in the night, so I went through the backwoods where I placed a tapper on a pine tree and up to the railroad. I put down gravel pathing and planted all the acorns I had to start an oak resin farm. The rest of the day would be dedicated to getting to the bottom of the mines. Made it to level 120 just in time before passing out. Robin was finished with the coop on day 33. The traveling cart was selling a lobster and some rare seeds, which I bought 3 of. After that, I visited Marnie and bought 4 chickens. Down, like down feathers, Chanel, Gucci, and Burberry, ? Spelling unclear. You can see how fashionable I am in real life. Then I visited Robin and asked her to build me a barn. I was still loaded, so I picked up my watering can from Clint and got the gold pickaxe upgrade. I saw Alex on his way to the ice cream stand and talked to him, but I don't know why I did because he was just rude to me. I spent the rest of the night fishing at the ocean and went back home in time to sell my fish and be in bed by midnight. On day 34, my first hot peppers were ready to be picked. I decided to craft some lightning rods and put them down around the crops, then got to see my chickies on the farm for the first time. Well, I couldn't technically see them because they were so little, but they were easy to find thanks to the UI mod. I was able to finish the crab pot bundle with the lobster I had bought from the traveling cart and was rewarded with 3 crab pots. I also finished the exotic foraging bundle and got 5 Autumn's bounties. Evelyn was looking for someone to bring her seaweed, so I accepted her quest. I talked to Alex again and regretted it again. Are you having a stroke? The rest of the day was spent fishing at the beach. Before heading to bed, I shipped all my fish, and as I lay my head to rest, I heard a faint hoot in the night. I put my chickies on day 35, as I will do every day from now on. While I was checking the trash cans in town, I talked to Alex against my better judgment and was confirmed in my bias against him. You would do that, Alex. I found a mussel and a crab in my crab pots, then settled in on the pier and got to octopus hunting. It finally took the bait, and after a hard-fought battle, I reeled it in. I went to go fish up some new fish from the river and got a rainbow trout and a dorado, but couldn't get a pike to bite. I gave Evelyn the seaweed she had asked for, who looked lovely in her yellow summer outfit, then went to the mines and tried to get a stonefish. It didn't bite either, unfortunately, but at least I could add white algae and a ghost fish to my fishing log. My chickens were fully grown on day 36, so I crafted 4 mayo machines and put them in the coop. I headed into the secret woods to get the fiddlehead fern that only spawns in summer and decided to chop some hardwood while I was there. In town, I gave Gus a nice orange for his birthday, picked up a help wanted quest to give Jody a hot pepper, took an apricot I had gotten from the back cave to the community center for the artisan bundle, and then went to Robin's and commissioned a fish pond. I spent the rest of the day in the iron levels of the mine looking for ores and dust sprites. I was in bed by 2 a.m. and got level 7 foraging. The sunflower, spangle, and some summer forageables were ready to be harvested on day 37. I replaced them with more summer seeds, and after turning all of the eggs into mayo, I brought Jody her pepper. Once that was done, I hit up the iron levels of the mine again. The ores were plentiful since it was a very good luck day. It was past midnight and I was about to go home, but I found a special slime on level 67 that I wanted to slay, which dropped me a shadow dagger. I decided to stay a bit longer to slay the dust sprites before heading out, and thank God I did. They dropped me a friggin' prismatic shard. Look at it! That night, I got level 8 farming, which meant kegs, and level 6 combat. I was able to harvest my precious red cabbage on day 38. After picking it and doing a celebratory dance, I went to Robin to get a coop upgrade. Once I handed in the cabbage to the dye bundle, I went to Marnie to buy 4 cows. Napa, like the leather, but apparently kind of spelled wrong, cowhide, linen, and velour. I gave Mara a strawberry for her birthday, then decided to go to the lake to fish for sturgeon. I put down furnaces again to smelt iron bars, a decision I kind of regretted. I mean, look at this. He won't even stop walking during the fishing minigame. Back on the farm, I had fished up so many rainbow trout that I decided to put 3 into the fish pond, hoping to quickly max it out for lots of roe for the fish farmer's bundle. After putting tree fertilizers on my oak trees at the railroad, I headed to bed. Day 39 was pretty uneventful. After smelting some more bars and taking care of my chickens and new cows, I went through all the trash cans in town before heading to the luau. Once there, I made sure to talk to everyone to get those precious friendship points and put a gold star cucumber from one of my latest fishing adventures into the soup. So good it'll make you want to slap your grandma. Day 40 still says day 39 at the top. Don't worry, it'll be fixed by tomorrow. Quite a few things were ready for harvest, and I bought 18 pieces of hay for Marnie, 8 for my animals and 10 for the community center, as well as a milk pail, since my cows would be producing milk soon. I handed in a few new things to the community center and picked up a help wanted quest to get Pam a pufferfish. After I got Clint to open more geodes and donated everything I could to Gunther, I went to the ocean to get Pam's fish and picked up all the forageables that had spawned because of crab mating season, I guess. Pam was at the saloon and gave me 600 G as a reward. I decided to use this opportunity to say hi to everybody and danced with Demetrius, who looked quite lonely without Robin, since she was still working on my coop. Day 41 was a stormy day, just as predicted, which was actually very fitting weather because it was Alex's birthday. My melons were ready for harvest and I decided to be the bigger person and save Alex an egg. After bringing a melon to the community center and an egg to Alex, I bought more melon seeds from Pierre to replant them. I found an oyster and a lobster waiting for me in the crab pots in the ocean, then fished up the red snapper, which can only be caught on rainy days. Demetrius started threatening me when I walked into the carpenter shop. Dude, I'm only here to buy a silo. That evening, I accidentally sold the red snapper I had caught, so I went to bed a bit saddened. Lots of things happened on day 42. I came outside to my beautiful blueberries and my single star fruit being fully grown. My lightning rods had also produced their first batteries. The rainbow trout wanted 3 purple mushrooms, which I didn't have at the moment, but I would try to find some in the mines soon. Marnie sold me a duck that I called Boa, like a feather boa, and I went to Pierre to sell him all my blueberries except for one, which I used to complete the summer crops bundle. As a reward, I got a quality sprinkler. I also bought all of the vault bundles and got 3 chocolate cakes, 30 quality fertilizers, 1 lightning rod, and a crystallarium. I went to Clint's and got a gold axe upgrade, fished in the river and finally caught the pike, then went back to the farm and put down the new sprinkler, planted 8 more summer seeds, and put a jade into my new crystallarium. I crafted 4 cheese presses and 11 tree tappers, put the tappers on the oak trees up at the railroad, put a chest for gifts right next to the entrance of the farm, and put the cheese presses into the barn. I also got to slay another wilderness golem that did not drop the living hat. That night, the Junimos repaired the bus, and I got level 9 farming. The cows were ready to be milked for the first time on day 43. I sold one for the shipping collection and turned the rest into cheese. Then I headed straight to the copper levels of the mines and tried to get as many ores and slay as many monsters as I could in the hopes of an ancient seed or a dwarf scroll 4, which was the last one I needed. Now that the bus was repaired, I wanted to be able to talk to the dwarf and be able to buy his explosive wares as soon as possible. I had no luck with the artifacts, but I stopped at level 20 to fish up a stonefish. I wanted to be in bed by 2 a.m, but passed out right outside of my house next to a wilderness golem. I bet that would have been the one. Level 8 mining. On day 44, I turned off the petting icons of the UI mod because they were starting to annoy me, then took care of my babies and processed their goods. In town, I picked up a quest for Penny to get a super cucumber, which went perfectly with my plans for the day. I looked up walking paths on the pier online so I could be certain no NPCs would walk there, then put my furnaces in a safe place and started to fish for money for the next barn upgrade. Unfortunately, it was kind of annoying because I kept hopping onto the bench when smelting ores. The only other thing I did was pick up my gold axe from Clint. Day 45 was a bit scattered. To make a long story short, I wanted a barn upgrade but didn't have enough money or wood. I wanted to get money from selling stuff to Pierre and by cleaning up my quest log, failing to realize it was a Wednesday, which meant no Pierre. It was also almost impossible to find Penny or Jody, and my plan ultimately failed. To top it all off, I just barely didn't make it to Sam in time to give him a Joja Cola for his birthday. To make myself feel better about this kinda sucky day, I got a new hat from the Hat Mouse, a lucky bow. Maybe it'll help me out tomorrow. The bloobs were ready again on day 46. I went to Robin's, but was disappointed again, because apparently she has plans on summer 18. Ugh, this lucky bow is not paying off. Then I bought my first ticket to the desert and did the most important deed first. I got the Galaxy Sword. I chopped the trees, foraged, fished to get a sandfish and a scorpion carp, and hoed the artifact spots and got really lucky by getting a golden mask, which is normally one of the last artifacts I get. I visited Sandy and bought 25 beet seeds in prep for fall, then took a look at the desert trader's wares and was reminded of how many Omni Geodes I would have to save up in the long run. Oh brother. The Skull Caverns would have to wait for another day. Boa was fully grown on day 47 and immediately dropped me a duck feather, something I still needed for the community center. The traveling cart lady wasn't selling anything worth my time, so I finally went to Robin's and got the frickin' barn upgrade. Demetrius got a strawberry for his birthday, then I crafted 14 more tappers and put them on the other oak trees at the railroad. My rainbow trout had been asking for 3 purple mushrooms for quite some time, so I decided to go to levels 80 plus of the mines, also in hopes of getting that stupid dwarf scroll 4. I hoed all the dirt patches I found, and I did get a scroll, but the wrong one. Also no luck with the mushrooms, so I headed to bed at 1 a.m. Day 48, I handed in the duck feather and a sturgeon I had been saving to the community center, finishing the lake fishing bundle. It was a super bad luck day, but I still decided to go back to the mines, doing the same thing as yesterday. I was even kind of hopeful, since bad luck means more enemies, means more chances to get a dwarf scroll drop. From a mining point of view, it didn't feel very unlucky. By the end of the day, I had a pretty good haul, even a single purple mushroom, but I still couldn't find the scroll and felt very dumb with my dinky hoe on these huge patches of dirt. I vowed to get a hoe upgrade the next day, level 7 combat. Day 49 was a super good luck day, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go to the Skull Caverns. I was not well prepared at all. No stockpile of cheese, no opportunity to buy bombs from the dwarf, and no ore to craft any myself. But I wanted to at least try and see how far I got. I took 5 iron bars and my hoe to Clint, where I got an emerald from the trash, got the upgrade just as I had sworn yesterday, then waited for Pam at the bus stop. Once at the desert, I traded diamonds for triple shot espressos, rubies for spicy eels, quartz for bombs, jades for staircases, and was sad to see that I couldn't get cheese, which you can apparently only get on Fridays. I staircased the first levels, but was out on level 15, so I had to continue the old-fashioned way. Hitting each normal rock with 2 swings felt painfully slow, but I didn't want to waste bombs. I got a treasure chest with 2 energy tonics on level 18, which made me more optimistic about my chances of survival. I found my favorite enemies for this playthrough and the real reason I had wanted to come here on level 34. Mummies. Mummies drop cloth, and cloth means fashion. Can you hear that? That's the sound of my designing career revving up. Passed on level 101 and got level 9 mining that night. I took a look at my haul the next day. Sure, I've had many better runs before, but I thought it was pretty amazing for a first trip without proper tools. Then I walked out into my most highly anticipated cutscene with Emily, giving me access to her sewing machine. I could finally get into the real drip farm business. I also got a letter from Mr. Key, challenging me to get to level 25 in the Skull Caverns. I thought that dude was omniscient. I went to go visit Emily and walked in on her dreaming about me and how our lives would intersect. You have no idea how true that is, Emily. I took a deep breath and prepared myself for the glorious moment of getting to use the sewing machine for the first time. I used the prehistoric tibia I had gotten from Pepper Rex yesterday to make a hairbone in commemoration of my first Skull Caverns dive, and a lemon stone to make a happy shirt, because that reflected my mood best. While I walked back out into the world with my new fit, I could tell that the next half of this series would be awesome. I picked up a strange help wanted quest to give Sandy a cactus fruit, even though she's surrounded by the stuff, then bought an apple tree from Pierre for the fodder bundle. I went home, planted my new apple tree, and went up to the railroad to see that my oak resin farm was slowly starting to pay off before going to Robin's to buy some wood and get the last barn upgrade I desperately needed. I also decided to buy her recipes and a workbench, then spent all the money I had left over on wood. I sold the gear that was piling up to Marlin and started to set up a crafting area on the farm. I didn't really have a good spot at the moment, but it would have to do for now. When I went to sleep, I got level 10 farming and chose the artisan profession, as well as level 8 foraging. Day 51, I got a letter from Mr. Key with 10,000 G for making it to level 25 in the Skull Caverns. I visited Marnie and bought a goat named Versace, but accidentally spelt wrong because that's how high class I am. Afterwards, I went to Clint, picked up my new hoe, opened the geodes I had, and hid in my pickaxe for an iridium upgrade. I fished at the ocean until I got the red snapper again, and immediately went to hand it into the community center. That completed the ocean fish bundle and got me 5 ocean warp totems. Then I went to the desert to give Sandy that cactus fruit. I just sorted chests and scythed grass for the rest of the day. Apparently, I had donated 60 things to the museum, because on the morning of day 52, Gunther was outside my door and gave me the rusty key. Robin agreed to build me a horse stable, and when I went into town, I had to explain to Penny that it's not appropriate to shove people in wheelchairs. It was Willie's birthday, and when I went to visit him, I found the last thing I needed from crab pots in the ocean: a shrimp. After giving him his birthday diamond, I went to the sewers for the first time, where I met Krobus and bought a void egg. The first bite in the sewers was the legendary mutant carp. Afterwards, I went straight to the mines to catch an ice pip, then went back to the farm to craft some machines and a few tea saplings. Day 53, I went to Marnie's, where I bought my first sheep, which I normally never buy, and called it McQueen, like as in Alexander McQueen. I also bought an auto grabber that went straight into my barn. Look how cute and fluffy she is. I gave Demetrius a melon he had asked for, then found George and gave him the hot pepper for his knee. He told me he couldn't talk and probably wanted to rub the pepper on his knee in private, so I left and went to Clint. With my iridium axe in hand, I headed to the mines to farm iron, coal, and dust sprites for the rest of the day. Got level 8 combat that night. The next day, the last harvest of blueberries was ready. My horse stable was finished, and I named my new horsey Gingham. I took her to Pierre's to sell all the blueberries, and then we visited Clint to get him to upgrade my watering can to steel. I was already itching to change my outfit again, so I tailored pine seed into a beanie and made a shirt with granite. I was trying to go for a foresty look, but I ended up looking more like I was going to mug someone. Oh well. Gingham got my hairbone hand-me-down, then we galloped to Robin's to commission a second fish pond. I went into the mines to get more copper, still hoping for an ancient seed or a dwarf scroll. Alas, no luck. This has definitely got to be one of the most unlucky playthroughs I've had when it comes to the ancient seed. I was kind of unsure what to do on day 55. After finishing the artisan bundle with a jelly and getting a keg in return, I bought lots of wheat seeds from Pierre to keep the hoed spots tilled for fall. Then I went back to the mines, determined to find the dwarf scroll. I thought my new fit might help scare it out of enemies, but it didn't. I even got a rare disc as a drop, but still no scroll. The enemies on my farm seemed to be getting tougher because I found a shadow brute waiting for me. I thought they might have the scroll, but they also disappointed me. Sad. Day 56 was the night of the moonlight jellies. I still felt defeated from yesterday, but after picking my last summer crops, I decided to head back to the mines with Gingham and try again. I hoed the ground and started getting way too many cave carrots again, but then it happened. I got the scroll and did a little victory dance. I had to pause to think about what to do with my life now, then decided to mine copper for the rest of the day until the festival started. At the beach, I made sure to talk to everyone as always. Don't be alarmed, guys, it's just me. You can keep your wallets. I also bought a starport decal because I wanted to see how it looked in my house. Of course, it winds up in a chest, never to be seen again. Then we watched the jellies migrate south for the winter. I stood sadly in the midst of my dead blueberries that had served me so well on day 57, then got to scything. I put a sturgeon into my new fish pond and knew this season called for an outfit change, but unfortunately I only had one cloth. I wanted an autumnal look, so I went to Emily's sewing machine and used an oak resin to tailor a floppy beanie, which looked a little less menacing than the regular one. At Pierre's, I bought 11 more pumpkin seeds, 1 eggplant, 7 amaranth, 3 fairy rose seeds, and spent the rest of my 41,000 G on cranberries. I went home to plant it all, putting Deluxe Speed Grow on the rare seeds, eggplant, and one of the pumpkins. I picked up my new watering can from Clint and donated the last Dwarf Scroll and the rare disc to Gunther and finally got the Dwarvish translation guide. I also found my first wool in the auto-grabber in the barn, which meant McQueen was fully grown. Day 58 was a rainy day. I made a loom and put it in the barn, which meant I could start making my own cloth without having to go on Skull Caverns runs. I went to the secret woods, kind of hoping for purple mushrooms, but there were none there. Stupid rainbow trout asking for stupid purple mushrooms. I went to the river to start catching the new fall fish, and at some point I got a chest with a treasure chest and a diamond inside. That loot stood in stark contrast to the hobo hipster chic I was sporting. When I went into town, Lewis and Robin were setting up the special orders board, and I decided to get the one to ship 100 amaranth. When I handed Penny an emerald for her birthday, I felt kinda bad for her, sitting alone in her trailer, so I sat with her for a few minutes before heading to the community center. There, I was able to complete 3 fishing bundles and the whole fish tank, giving me 30 bait, a dish of the sea, and a small glow ring. I honestly should have made a counter for all the glow rings I've gotten in this playthrough. While I slept, the Junimos removed the glittering boulder. On day 59, I took care of my animals and saw that my very first self-made cloth was ready. Also, my void chicken had hatched and I named her Zipper. After completing the fall foraging bundle, as well as picking up a help wanted quest to give Demetrius a super cucumber, I visited Emily and our new parrot that had flown into our window, then tailored some relaxed shorts with a peach from my bat cave. I did my usual trash can run and couldn't care less about Alex finding me disgusting for doing it. On my way to Robin's to get a house upgrade, Willie gifted me another tool, this time a copper pan to pan for ores. I wasn't happy about it, but I decided I couldn't just not put it on my head. So I donned my new special kid headgear, at least for today. I mean, look, even concerned Ape is disappointed in me. I decided to fish up the legendary fish of fall, the angler, and spend the rest of the day fishing in the ocean with Daddy Willie. Day 60, I went to Pierre's to get the 100 amaranth seeds I would need. After planting them on all the open spots, I still had exactly 48 seeds left, so I dedicated the rest of the day to start planning out my farm. I crafted some iridium sprinklers and pathing, cleared off all of the debris on the upper left quadrant, and laid out where everything would go. I kinda wasn't liking how the wood colors were clashing with the earthy recolor mod I had, and might have to do something about it. I downloaded a new mod for darker pathing, and it looked a lot better on day 61, even though I would have liked to have a different brick color, but what are you gonna do? I happened to pick up a plum from the bus stop, and the only reason I'm telling you this is because after handing in the eggplant to the fall crops bundle, I got a help wanted quest from Pam for a plum. I was like, sure, I'll take your money for picking up something that was right next to you, you doofus. The copper pan was weighing heavy on my soul and my loaf, so I went to Emily's sewing machine and tailored my own dwarvish helmet to wear. I found Elliot in town and gave him his birthday pomegranate, then fished at the mountain lake for the rest of the night. I caught a midnight carp at exactly midnight, which was neat. Day 62, I woke up in a much larger house. I crafted and sold some tea saplings to Pierre, which netted me 25,000 G, so I got the wood and stone I still had, bought the missing resources from Robin, and got the final coop upgrade. After having looked at that exclamation mark above my rainbow trout pond for weeks, I spent the rest of the day looking for those darn purple mushrooms. I went to the mines, but couldn't find a mushroom floor to save my life. At the very end of the day, I was super low on energy and health when I saw a single purple mushroom. I snuck my way past the slime to get it and was very relieved that nothing attacked me on my farm when I headed to bed. The beets were fully grown on day 63, so I harvested them, shipped 14, kept 1 for the community center, and 10 for my plan for the day. I brought a battery to the dark tunnel that Gingham was too scared to go into, brought a rainbow shell up to the railroad and put it in the box, took a quick break from Mr. Key's scavenger hunt to hand in 1 beet to the community center, completing the dye bundle and getting a seed maker, then took the other 10 beets and put them in Louis' fridge. After buying some rice and pumpkin seeds from Pierre, I didn't have enough money for a ticket to Calico Desert, so the Sand Dragon's final meal would have to wait. I came outside to a field full of cranberries on day 64. After harvesting everything, I made a maki roll and fried up an egg, then took a look at the special quests board. I was extremely torn between the 2 tasks, but went with the prismatic jelly quest. I want that burglar's ring, and being able to make more dust sprite spawn would help me achieve that goal. I had another bolt of cloth, so I used Emily's sewing machine to tailor a jamborite into a green thumb shirt. It clashed with my pink shorts, so I decided to try out the dyeing pots for the first time. At first, I was kind of confused about how they worked, but realized I'd need an item for every color, not just the one I was going for. I handed in the fried egg and the maki roll, completing the chef's bundle, and got a pink cake. Back at Emily's, I turned the shorts a nice blue to make it look like I was wearing little overalls. I bought some yam and lots of pumpkin seeds and filled up all of the new sprinkler spots I had created. Planting everything took up the rest of the night. I will never get a living hat from these wilderness golems. Marnie was outside my door on day 65 to ask me for a cave carrot. I made another mayo machine for Zipper's eggs, as well as 29 kegs. They were filled with melons. Then I took my furnaces and ores to the mines and kept smelting ores while spamming floor 5 to find the prismatic slime. After finding another glow ring in a crate, I found the little sucker almost immediately and felt a bit aimless, but decided to grind out dust sprite kills for the rest of the day. Sorry, little buddies. Day 66. I made some signs for my fish ponds. Stupid rainbow trout. And also added a sign to my crop area, where I could at least keep a memory of the prismatic jelly. It just looks so cool. My speed grow pumpkin was ready, so I brought it to the community center, completing the fall crops bundle and getting a bee house for it. Handing the wizard the jelly netted me 5,000 G, and I found my first chanterelle in the secret woods. After chopping all the stumps there, I dropped the cave carrot at Marnie's feet, then went back to my farm to get the furnaces and did the old smelting bars while fishing, this time at the river, which went swimmingly, since there were no NPCs walking around to destroy my stuff. The wizard had sent me the recipe for monster musk in the mail on day 67, and the 100 amaranth were ready, so I harvested it all and shipped it with the fish from yesterday. I immediately crafted my first monster musk, then headed to Pierre, who sold me enough pumpkins to fill up all the empty sprinkler spots. I shoved a chocolate cake into Jodie's face for her birthday, then visited Emily's sewing machine with a piece of cloth and some cheese to tailor a little mouse shirt. I hadn't realized it at the time, but this is a shirt you can get a character creation, and I mainly wanted to focus on the ones you can't choose at the very start of the game. Oh well, I still look adorable. After planting the pumpkins, I headed to the mines, doused myself in monster musk, and went happily on my merry way, loving the huge swarms of dust sprites. Oh look, a special slime. Did it drop A, thermal boots, B, a lead rod, or C, a forest sword? If you guessed any of those answers, you're wrong. It was another frickin' glow ring. What is this? That night, I got level 10 in mining and went with the prospector profession. Day 68 started with me getting a mini shipping bin in the mail from Lewis for having completed the crop order quest, as well as a good amount of money for my quest log. I got the last fish roe I needed and cursed the rainbow trout, as I brought the roe straight to the community center, completing the fish farmer's bundle and getting a stupid worm bin. After that, I bought 2 rabbits from Marnie, Dolce and Gabbana. I was unsure about the spelling again, and was pretty sure there was a letter missing, so I guessed then added another N. Ah well, wrong consonant. But I feel like it's basically tradition at this point. I bought some wood from Robin and got her to build me a shed, then visited the dwarf to buy the weathered floor recipe and their rare crow. Look, we're twinsies! Then I used another monster musk and went down into the iron levels again, where I got the Monster Slayer achievement for dust sprites at the very end of the night. Level 9 combat. Day 69 was pretty nice. I gathered all the batteries from yesterday's lightning storm and was able to harvest more cranberries, then found my new little wabbits. I wanted to further expand my cloth production, so I bought another sheep and named her Baby Doll, like the dress. While I was there, I got loose shorts for some new drip. Emily was asking for a frozen tear, and Clint opened all my geodes and agreed to upgrade my hoe to gold. I used Emily's sewing machine and a gold bar to tailor the lucky purple shorts, gave Abigail a birthday amethyst, then got to show off my new shorts to Lewis. I visited the Hat Mouse and bought a trucker's hat to match my casual breeches. I was tired of looking at the exclamation mark above the rainbow trout pond, so I emptied it, even though I didn't have a different fish to put in, and quickly sold all those a-holes. Day 70, I was able to harvest some pumpkins and the shed was done. I immediately commissioned an upgrade from Robin, then let Pam whisk me to the desert to put the solar essence into the dragon skull. While I was there, I traded in the few jades I had for staircases since it was a Sunday, and visited Sandy and found one of the shirts you can only buy from her. At least I thought so, but I'm not so sure anymore. How did these two look so similar? Back in the valley, I visited Marlin and Gil, selling all of my stupid glow rings and the other gear I had collected. Gil gave me the hard hat and the burglar's ring, then I crafted as many kegs as I could, put them in the little shed, and filled them up with pumpkins, wheat, and some hops. I always get a little jolt of hope whenever I kill a wilderness golem, but I'm always disappointed. Day 71 started with Jody's invitation that never really feels like one. After getting my club member card from the lumber pile, I headed back to the desert, but only because it was Sandy's birthday. She was selling another shirt, but it's one you can tailor yourself, so I didn't get it. Lies, Sandy, lies! I picked up my gold hoe from Clint, then picked up the Juicy Bugs Wanted quest from the special orders board. For the rest of the day, I dove into the mines with a monster musk. I was in good spirits, because with my new burglar's ring, not only would I get a lot more bug meat, but I would also have double the chances to get an ancient seed drop, which of course I did not get. Yeah, you wouldn't drop anything interesting either, would you? Level 9 foraging. I hurriedly mustered up 9 things I could add to my Grange display on day 72 and went to town. I mingled with the rest of the townsfolk and ate a burger while Lewis was judging my display. I won first place, obviously. After beating the strength game, I consistently bet half what I had on green and won each time, so I quickly had enough star tokens to get the rare crow, the fedora, the 100 hay, and the star drop. McQueen gave birth to a baby sheep that night, which I called Lagerfeld. Day 73, the kegs outside were ready, and I was able to craft some more, so I put them all in the fully upgraded shed. I'll fix the layout as soon as they're all finished processing. I went to Emily's and wanted something intimidating, so I used a beer to make a black leather jacket and an apricot to tailor relaxed pants that I dyed to make them almost black. I hung out with the cool kids for a while and wondered about where Alex's obsession with his hair comes from. Then I went to the mines, used the monster musk, and thrashed at every bug I found. After kill after kill after kill, I finally found a friggin' ancient seed. It's unbelievable how long that took. I continued to mine copper for a help wanted quest from Clint, and then the bugs were so scared of me that they dropped a prismatic shard. I knew my outfit would work its magic. Dolce or Gabbana had dropped their first rabbit's foot on day 74. I made more kegs and kegged more hops, then asked Robin to build a second shed. I bought as much copper ore as I could to still be able to afford an iridium axe upgrade, then headed to Emily, who danced for me. I used a pizza to tailor a party hat for the celebratory occasion of going to the museum and handing in the prismatic shard and the ancient seed. Gingham and I handed in the rabbit's foot for the enchanter's bundle, completing it and getting 5 gold bars as a reward. I dished out a diamond to Marnie for her birthday, then took 100 bug meats to the pier and put them in the barrel next to Willie's. That night, I played hide and seek with 2 shadow brutes, who both lost badly. The 3 sweet gem berries were ready to be harvested on day 75. I shipped 1, bought the snowman rare crow from the traveling cart lady, gave another sweet gem berry to Master Cannoli in exchange for a star drop, and handed in the last one to the rare crops bundle in the community center, completing the pantry. I got a preserves jar as a reward, watched the Junimos put up the 4th star, then went to the desert and bought 116 starfruit seeds to fill the greenhouse tomorrow. It was an otherwise uneventful day, except for that I got an iridium bar drop from a shadow brute on my farm that night. Thank you, little Junimos! Day 76 was another kind of boring day. Quite a few pumpkins and yams were ready for harvest, some of which were immediately kegged. I was only able to make 3 iridium sprinklers, but planted all of the starfruit seeds in my new greenhouse. I'm an idiot and forgot the ancient seed I had worked so hard to get. I went to Krobus, unsure of the day when he sells iridium sprinklers. It's Fridays, not Saturdays, so I bought a star drop instead. Pierre sold me 80 bok choy seeds that I planted on the farm, then I tailored a field snack into a denim jacket. Day 77 was a super good luck day. After kegging some pumpkins and selling pale ale, I went to the mines to buy bombs from the dwarf, then went to give Robin a goat cheese for her birthday. Clint agreed to upgrade my watering can to gold, then I asked Pam to take me to the desert. Today's Skull Caverns run wasn't too great. I wasn't getting as lucky with the drop shafts or ladders, and floor 42 was a spiral floor with a staircase already spawned at the center. I didn't get any treasure room floors, but at least a Pepper Rex dropped a dino egg. Only made it down to level 85 before passing out. Day 78 was another very good luck day, and I wanted to try a Skull Caverns run again. I quickly put the dino egg into the incubator, then got Pam to jog to the bus stop. At the desert, I popped a spicy eel and went to the casino, bought 100 key coins and hit up the Calico spin machines. I got a triple cherry on my 3rd spin, so I was like, okay, and was able to start betting 100 key coins on each spin. I was quickly racking up points and soon had the 18,000 coins I needed to buy the rare crow and the top hat. which made me feel a lot better about my chances in the Skull Caverns today. My fancy hat matched the fancy loot I got, including 2 prismatic shards and an iridium sprinkler from the chest on level 100, passed out on level 103. After taking a closer look at my loot, I started day 79 by picking my cranberries. I put the sprinkler in my greenhouse and saw that my apple tree had produced apples. I caked some pumpkins, went to Pierre's to sell my cranberries and mayos, and decided I wanted my fit to reflect how privileged I was feeling. So I tailored a dried starfish into a golden shirt. I'm feeling myself. Gingham got the party hat, then we picked up the gold watering can and opened geodes at Clint's. At the special orders board, I picked up the Biome Balance quest, then went to the community center to finish the fodder bundle with 3 apples and got a heater as a reward. Robin agreed to upgrade my second shed, and I crafted 3 more iridium sprinklers, because I can't count, and as many kegs as I could. The kegs were put into the shed and filled with more pumpkins, and the 2 missing sprinklers were put in the greenhouse. That night, a new baby sheep was born, and I named her Corduroy, spelt horribly wrong. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. Evelyn was wearing a lovely lilac outfit when she taught me the recipe for garden pots. Almost all of my crops were ready to be picked, then I caked as much as I could. I picked up a help wanted quest for Jody to give her a smallmouth bass and visited George, who got a leek for his birthday. I stayed to watch some TV with him, then immediately fished up the smallmouth bass as Jody was walking by. Perfect. I went to Emily's and tailored a shirt with the barite and a flat-topped hat with some stuffing from the trash to get a bit more into the Thanksgiving season, then talked to stupid Alex about his stupid hair. That's not even a question, Alex. That's just too much information. Gingham and I spent the rest of the day at the lake working on the Biome Balance quest, and thanks to a bubble spot, I was able to finish it pretty quickly. Please just give me the hat. Not much happened on day 81. Demetrius sent me the farm computer recipe in the mail, then I went to Clint's with 5 iridium bars and got the last hoe upgrade. It was a Thursday, so I went to Sandy's shop and bought 116 deluxe speed grows to put on the starfruits in the greenhouse. I went to Robin's to move the buildings on my farm around and commissioned her to build a mill. Purely for aesthetic reasons, not because I need it. I worked on the farm layout for the rest of the day, making another crop area in the lower left quadrant and taking down sprinklers I wouldn't need anymore since it would be winter soon. All of day 82 was used to work on the layout of the animal area. I was envisioning a place dedicated to my true calling, so I put down some chests and moved the looms from my barn outside. The chests will store my tailoring goods. It's far from finished and the main piece is missing, but it's a good start. I also crafted an iridium band, so now I'm even more deadly. I was so mad on day 83. It was the Spirits Eve festival, so I wouldn't be allowed into town, meaning I couldn't tailor an outfit on the day specifically dedicated to dressing up. What kind of designer am I? Many kegs were finished processing, then I decided to use the rest of the day to spam level 81 in the mines and get as much fiber as I could, and had almost 200 by 9:30. It was so nice to see all the villagers in their costumes, but it also made me even more salty. After getting the rare crow, the jack-o'-lantern recipe, and the golden pumpkin, I went back home and spawned right in front of a wilderness golem. Still no living hat. Day 84 was the last day of fall and the final cranberry harvest of the season was ready. I was able to keg more pumpkins, but had to start switching to bok choy. At Emily's, I tailored the costume I would have worn yesterday if they had let me. A shirt with bow from an orpiment and a witchy hat from the golden pumpkin I had gotten. Okay, I guess I wouldn't have been able to wear exactly this outfit since I didn't have the golden pumpkin yet, but the fashion lady couldn't change her fashion and she was still peed. After picking up my fully upgraded hoe, I spent the rest of this rainy day fishing for catfish money. The first day of winter started off wonderfully. All of the cranberries and pumpkin juice put me over the threshold to becoming a millionaire. I took down all of the sprinklers, lightning rods, and scarecrows at the top of the farm. A shadowy figure ran away from me on my way into town, but I found it in a bush. And right before walking into Clint's, I finally got the garbage hat. After handing in my watering can and 5 iridium bars, I went straight back to my farm and got a piece of trash to tailor the trash shirt at Emily's. Guess who I'm cosplaying as and leave a comment? I got the cave patrol quest to slay 50 dust sprites, then went to Krobus with the birthday horseradish, but he was brawling with the dwarf. Not on his birthday. I spent the rest of the day looking for a crocus, a holly, and a nautilus shell, which were the last things I needed for the community center, but there were 0 forageables to be found. I wanted to really get into the frosty spirit with a new outfit on day 86. After crafting another loom, because I was starting to get so much wool, Gingham and I galloped to the Hat Mouse to buy a bowler hat that was unlocked when I hit 1 million gold, picking up a crocus and a holly along the way. Then we went to Emily's and used an ancient drum to tailor a regal mantle. I, begrudgingly, picked up the Help Wanted quest from Alex to get a quartz, then got 30 winter seeds for completing the winter foraging bundle and completed the crafts room. My oak resin farm was ready, so I crafted more kegs and completely filled up my keg shed and started to fill up the second one. That night, the Junimos repaired the bridge. More kegs were ready on day 87. I refilled them with the last of the bok choy and strawberries. I bought an auto grabber and a heater from Marnie and put them in the barn and coop, then used a caviar to tailor the fashion hat. Giving Alex the quartz hurt my soul, but I want the big help achievement for doing 40 help wanted quests. These 75G do not cover the compensation for pain and suffering. I picked up my iridium watering can, then looked for Linus to give him a birthday coconut and found him in the spa. Poor guy must have been cold. I spent the rest of the day in the mines killing dust sprites with the help of Monster Musk and started getting secret notes, including my favorite one from Mr. Key, challenging me to get to level 100 in the Skull Caverns. The Cave Patrol quest was quickly finished and got me 6,000 G. Clint sent me the geode crusher recipe in the mail on day 88. Thanks, I hate it. My first starfruit harvest was finally ready and most of them were kegged straight away. I wanted to give Pam the pale ale she had asked 4 weeks ago, but chugged it right in front of her, then drunkenly stumbled to Caroline to give her the pumpkin she wanted. I turned a Helvite into a classy top, then Pam drove me to the desert, where I spent 100,000 G on starfruit seeds. After finally planting the single ancient seed in the greenhouse and filling the rest of the spots with starfruit seeds, I went into the quarry mine, fought my way through the haunted skulls, and got the golden scythe. That means I have all my tools fully upgraded, at least until the 1.6 update comes out. Spent the rest of the night mining the quarry until it was time for bed. The traveling cart lady was selling garlic on day 89, which I immediately bought so I could turn it into a seed for Ginger Island. At the beach, I finally found a nautilus shell. Gingham and I rode up to the community center straight away, handed it into the field research bundle, and completed the entire community center. Goodbye, little friends! I knew this day called for a very special outfit, so I thought long and hard and couldn't think of anything more special than a prismatic shard that can turn into a variety of different things when tailored. I took one to Emily's and tailored a prismatic shirt. Ooh. Next up, Gingham took me to the Hat Mouse, where I bought a tiara. Headwear fit for someone who single-handedly fixed up the entire community and looked good while doing it. Gingham got my fashion hat, then I took a trout soup down to the tip of Arrowhead Island and caught the last legendary fish, the glacier fish. Day 90, I finally moved my crafting area down away from the shipping bin and started working on the layout at the top of the farm. My dino had hatched and I called it Croco, like crocodile leather. After watching Pierre knock out Morris, I tailored a celebratory blue outfit for kicking out Jojo, using a chocolate cake and a kyanite. The rest of my starfruits were ready for harvest, then I went to the railroad to start the magic ink quest. Krobus unlocked the mutant buck lair for me, where I got the dark talisman and fished up a slimejack. Then I fished up a void mayo and 2 void salmon in the witch's swamp, gave the henchman the mayo, got the magic ink from the witch's hut, and brought it to the wizard, who gave me access to his magical buildings. I immediately got 2 Junimo huts. I replanted more starfruit seeds and put a void salmon into my empty fish pond at the end of the day. I got tons of letters with recipes in the mail and an invitation from Willie to see what was in the back of his shop on day 91. I wanted to wear something fun today, so I made a fried egg and tailored a fried egg shirt. Then I took all my geodes to Clint, and unfortunately only the mudstone was new. I donated it and some artifacts from dig spots to Gunther, then went to Willie's and found him drowning in crabs. He also showed me his dilapidated boat, but lucky for him, I had everything to fix it. I decided to spend the rest of the day working on my foraging skill and deforested all of Cindersap Forest. Robin and Willie used the materials I gave them to repair the boat overnight. I had learned from my Spirit's Eve mistake and had pre-tailored an outfit for today's Festival of Ice. I put on the fishing vest made with a largemouth bass and the sou'wester I had bought from the hat mouse yesterday while I was chopping wood. I used the time before the festival to continue working on the farm a bit, putting down more pathing and crafting more furnaces. At the festival, I talked to everyone, then started the ice fishing competition. The other competitors looked like amateurs in comparison to me and my fishing gear. Of course I won, with 7 fish. I got different types of tackle and the real prize, the sailor's cap. Day 93 was finally the big day. After gathering up all the tools and resources I would need for the island, I made a detour to the sewing machine to tailor the perfect outfit using seaweed. I put on my kelp shirt and the sailor's cap and looked super tropical. When I left Emily's house, Alex tried to ruin this glorious day by confiding in me while I stood freezing my little butt off in my seaweed garb. I don't care, Alex. I'm getting frostbite. When he was finally done, I quickly took a look at the special orders board and chose the Fragments of the Past quest. Then Willie whisked me away to Ginger Island. I went into the jungle where I found Leo in his hut wearing his adorable parrot onesie. I know my walnut route by heart and was able to quickly find enough walnuts to gain access to the island farm. By the end of the night, I had cleared off most of the farmland and had collected enough walnuts to get the parrots to repair the island farmhouse where I slept that night. I cleared off the rest of the farmland, planted the garlic, wheat, and melon seeds, then went on my first run through the volcano on day 94, which turned out super lucky. I bought the warp totem and ginger ale recipes from the dwarf on floor 5, found a huge collection of cinder shard nodes, got 5 dragon's teeth by the end of it, and to top it all off, I got a hot java ring from the chest on floor 9. After combining my rings at the forge, the enchantment I got on my sword put a small damper on my happiness. I got Haymaker, but I forged 2 rubies I had into it for more damage at least. I fished up a lava eel and had collected enough golden walnuts to get the bridge to the dig site. After freeing Professor Snail, I started hacking away at the bone nodes to work on the bone fragments quest, but it got late, so I headed to bed, very satisfied with my loot. I spent day 95 on the island working on the dig site, mining bone nodes, fishing in the river trying to get the spine, which didn't work, and panning for the fossilized tail, which also didn't work. I was able to give the professor 2 leg bones, the rib cage, and the snake skull. Since it was raining, I gathered up all of the gems that I had taken to the island and found the gem bird that dropped an aquamarine for me. I went to the jungle gem shrine and figured out the configuration pretty quickly, considering I only had 1 to go off of. I had already had my seaweed on for a pretty long time and was ready to put on something new, so I headed back to the mainland to tailor tomorrow's outfit. I was able to collect more oak resin and craft more kegs, and Linus showed me how to craft wild bait. Day 96 started off with a shed full of wine and juice. Good. I finally saw my animals again and took care of them, gave my void salmon 5 void essence and my sturgeon 3 omni geodes, and gave the wizard a void essence he had asked for. Using a winter root, I tailored an orange bow shirt, put on the watermelon band I had bought from the hat mouse, and dyed my relaxed shorts a hot pink to go with it. It doesn't fit the wintry vibes of Pelican Town, but it'll be a good fit for the island. I gave Gunther 100 bone fragments and got 3,500 G as a reward. Back at the island, I wanted to collect more walnuts to get access to the island resort. I talked to a woman, whose hair looked a lot like the shirt I had been wearing for the past few days, who gave me an old picture that would have to stay in a chest for now. After completing the gem puzzle, I went to the dig site, panned up a fossilized tail, and tried to fish up the spine again, but it just wouldn't show itself, so I'd have to come back another time. I still couldn't get the dang fossilized spine on day 97, so I left to do another volcano run. I thought the hot java ring was broken at first, since the monsters weren't dropping anything. While thinking about which mod might be causing the bug, I got the first coffee, so apparently it was just a luck problem. Progress through the volcano was slow, but I got to the rare chest on floor 9, which gave me mermaid boots, forged a 3rd ruby into my galaxy sword, and made it to bed just in time. Finally got level 10 combat, and chose the brute profession. The next day, I fished up a lionfish from the ocean, then gave the parrots 20 golden walnuts to build the resort. The eastern side of the island became accessible, where I got 3 more walnuts and fished in the pirate's grotto until the stingray was mine. I tried my luck at fishing up the fossilized spine again, but still no dice. Back on my farm in Pelican Town, half of the starfruit was ready in the greenhouse. I picked them and put them in the chest in my keg shed, then went to the saloon to give Harvey a birthday coffee. The rest of the evening was spent smelting bars and crafting kegs. The other half of my starfruit were also ready on day 99, so I picked them all and filled up the whole greenhouse with more of them. I also finally planted some winter forage seeds, then went to Robin, had to explain to Demetrius that tomatoes are vegetables, and handed over 150 hardwood and 50,000 G to commission another house upgrade. I was feeling rich, so I bought 600 copper and 500 iron ores and coal. Emily's rock rejuvenation quest was finally up for grabs again. Yay! I went to her house and tailored my outfit for the day. A fishing hat with a scorpion carp I had kept for this occasion, and a fish shirt with a bream. At the night market, I grabbed a coffee, the exclusive painting, because my house needs to be swaggy too at some point, and then entered the submarine and fished my little heart out until I had caught a spookfish, a blobfish, and a midnight squid, earning the Master Angler achievement. Yes, that I am. Day 100 started off right, with a star drop in the mail from Willie. I got to work smelting the ores I bought yesterday, then headed to Emily's to tailor an obligatory outfit that I don't want to have to wear for too long. A pink shirt made with dolomite and a blobfish mask with one of the blobfish from yesterday. I tried to max out the last skill, foraging, so I chopped the stumps in the secret woods and picked up every stupid holly I could find, but unfortunately I didn't make it. I gave Emily all of the gems for her rock rejuvenation quest and got 1000 G, which was kind of a ripoff, but the real prize would arrive tomorrow. At the night market, I bought some decorations for the farm and went to the magic shop boat to buy the cone hat to replace the blobfish mask. I wanted to go to the mermaid show next, and I didn't have to make it more awkward than it already is. I watched the show and got the pearl, bought Lupini's painting, then spent the last hour of the day putting down a bit more pathing. Day 101 was just as exciting as day 100, if not even more so, because I got a letter from Pierre saying I could buy bouquets, which meant that we had reached 8 hearts with Emily. Obviously, I'm going to romance the most fashionable villager in Stardew Valley, as if you couldn't have already guessed it. My beloved had also sent me this sewing machine in the mail, which was put right in the middle of my design corner. Today called for another celebratory outfit, tailored using my brand new sewing machine. So I used a fish taco from the saloon to make a green party hat, an ocean stone to make a green shirt, and my last prismatic shard turned into prismatic pants. I felt extremely fancy while giving the wizard a purple mushroom for his birthday. I decided today was the perfect day to visit the Shrine of Illusions for the first time. I dyed my hair green because it's my favorite color. Plus, it matches my fit. I bought a bouquet from Pierre, found Emily guiding the ladies of the valley through a meditation session, then asked her if she would be my girlfriend, and she accepted. I went to decorate the design area on my farm, crafted more kegs, and added them to the second shed, which was also getting full. After buying the third Lupini painting, I worked on my farm layout for the rest of the night. My house was even bigger on day 102. I tailored a frozen tear into a dark jacket and put on an eye patch that's unlocked at the Hat Mouse for getting the Master Angler achievement. I collected my oak resin, played around with the layout for a bit, and commissioned a new fish pond for my lava eel. Emily was at the island, and I happily chatted with her before finding a golden walnut behind a tree, which meant I had 10 golden walnuts and was able to have the parrots build the island trader. I visited the pirates in the evening, since it was an even day. Gross, dude. I had put on my outfit for exactly this occasion, and looked piratey enough to be offered some mead. After 3 rounds of darts, I was 3 golden walnuts richer. After fishing in the Dig Site River for hours, I finally fished up the fossilized spine on day 103. The Manses of the valley were visiting the island, including Gus, so I bought his recipe for tropical curry and a Gold Star wine right away. Seeing Harvey in his Speedo kind of made me waver on my decision to romance Emily, but I stayed faithful and went back to my farm. I crafted 5 bone meals, which I actually find kind of useful, and 30 more kegs. I kegged all the starfruit I had, but it wasn't even enough to fill them all up. I'm looking forward to be able to plant stuff on Ginger Island, but want to wait until I've gotten the 2 snake spines before filling up all the spots. I just smelted more bars and put down more pathing for the rest of the day. Friggin' serpents are starting to spawn on my farm at night. Good grief. I tailored one of my favorite outfits on day 104. I used crab cakes to make a crab cake shirt and a bug steak to make goggles. I look amazing. I crafted 5 flute blocks, since it would be raining on Ginger Island tomorrow, then wanted to visit Evelyn on her birthday. Before I could give her a present, George asked me for medical advice. I must look like I'm medically knowledgeable in my new getup. Once I gave Evelyn her diamond, I headed to the island volcano and made sure to kill as many tiger slimes as I could for a chance at the tiger slime hat. It didn't drop, unfortunately, but I did get another hot Java ring. Day 105 was kind of boring. Even despite my enhanced vision, I still couldn't find a dig spot with a snake vertebrae. I played the mermaid a little tune and was gifted 5 golden walnuts for it, then went back to Pelican Town. I accepted Pam's help wanted quest for a ruby, which worked out well since I had one in my pocket, and handed it to her on my way to my farm. After opening geodes and donating the few new things I had, Pierre sold me some basic cooking ingredients. I took care of my fashionable animals and used some of their eggs and milk to get started on the cooking recipes. Some of my forageables were fully grown on day 106, and while harvesting them, the UI mod told me I had leveled up. A special outfit was in order, so I tailored a ginger ale into ginger overalls, a piece of ginger into the forager's hat, and dyed my relaxed fit pants to match. Look at my adorable forager outfit! I chose Linus Community Cleanup Quest from the Special Orders board and shipped off to Ginger Island. All of my crops were fully grown, which the Gourmand Frog loved. They gave me 15 more golden walnuts, and I had the parrots construct my farm obelisk. After another volcano run, I had a few more golden walnuts and secret notes. I was curious to see how many walnuts I had collected, and walked right through the door. Apparently, Mr. Key was a fan of my work, and I did have to admit that I was digging his hat. The perfection tracker told me I was only at 33%. This'll take a while. I wasn't sure if I'd get to it, but I picked up his Skull Caverns invasion quest. I was back in the volcano on day 107, and had found enough walnuts by floor 5 to unlock the drop shaft. A prismatic shard dropped from an iridium node, and on level 9 I noticed that I had found a petrified bat at some point, which was awesome. At the forge, I gave my sword enchantment another go, just to get the second worst one. Bug killer. The island trader gave me a banana sapling for 5 dragon's teeth, and the deluxe retaining soil recipe for 50 cinder shards. I planted the banana sapling and a mango sapling that had dropped from one of the enemies in the volcano in my greenhouse back in Pelican Town. I even got to kill 2 wilderness golems today, but neither of them dropped the living hat. I'm starting to lose hope, to be honest. The starfruit in the greenhouse was ready the next day and immediately kegged. I didn't have enough seeds to replace them, but would have to go to the desert on a different day, since Pam had abandoned her post and was on the island. I was yearning to change my wardrobe, so I went to the Hat Mouse to buy the official cap, put on a belted coat, tailored from an Autumn's Bounty, and my trusty farmer's pants. My green hair kind of clashed with the blue vibes, so I went to the Shrine of Illusions and got dark blue hair to match. I went to Robin's, moved some buildings around, and finally gave them a paint job. I wanted it to be whimsical yet stylish, and think the true beauty will become apparent in spring, when it finally stops snowing. Then I just added more pathing to my farm for the rest of the day. It was the Feast of the Winter Star on day 109. I tailored a festive shirt with a pumpkin pie I had cooked a few nights ago and put on a Santa hat I had bought from the Hat Mouse. I also decided to put on the rubber boots I still had in a chest so that I also had a pop of Christmassy green. Before the feast, I quickly popped into Sandy's shop to buy more starfruit seeds, then headed to town. I was assigned Caroline and gave her a summer spangle. My gift giver was the fashionable Evelyn, who gave me cookies, which I thought was adorable, and very fitting for my Santa alter ego. I planted the seeds in my greenhouse and harvested my very first ancient fruit of this playthrough. I wasn't quite ready to get rid of the Santa outfit, so it'll stay for day 110. I still had the cookies from Evelyn and wanted to have my Santa moment, so I ate them and washed it down with a big jug of milk, because that's what a Santa would do. Marnie sold me a little piggy I named Chew, as in Jimmy Chew. Choo choo. I was in the Santa spirit, so... Jazz got a fairy rose, Emily an aquamarine, Clint got a topaz for his birthday, as well as an iron bar he had asked for, and Gus got an orange and the albacore he had asked for. I wanted to quickly fish up 20 pieces of trash for the community cleanup quest on level 100 of the mines. Don't mind me, just a lady in a Santa costume fishing in a fiery pit. While I was there, I hooked and caught not 1, not 2, but 3 lava eels. What are the chances? After putting 20 pieces of trash in the dumpster, I got 500 G as a reward. At home, I crafted 30 more kegs and was able to collect the starfruit wine that was finished. I didn't have too many more fruits to put in, but oh well. We'll get that ball rolling again in spring. Both of the sheds were now full, so I started adding kegs to the quarry. A new fit was tailored on day 111. A logo cap from one of the lava eels from yesterday, and a hematite to make a vintage polo shirt, because why not? I took a golden coconut and my artifacts to Clint. A fossilized skull popped out, which was perfect, since I could complete the big animal fossil at Professor Snail's museum. At Robin's, I bought 5 stacks of wood and 1 stack of stone, then commissioned a well. I still had money to spend, so I went back to Clint's and bought 500 copper ores and spent the rest of my money on iron ores. I handed the petrified bat and the skull to Professor Snail, getting 6 walnuts and a banana sapling in return. After doing half of a volcano run and trading 20 regular coconuts for 2 golden ones, I went back to Pelican Town and went to bed. The last day of the year arrived, and I wanted it to be special. Today's outfit had to be perfect, so I used an emerald to make a green shirt, a dino mayo to make dinosaur pants, and a dino egg to make a dino hat. I still had the Skull Caverns invasion quest and wanted to dominate it in style. I bought 100 bombs from the dwarf and traded jades in for staircases and 10 iridium bars for the recipe to craft desert warp totems at the desert trader. Every time the royal serpents came at me, I got a little jolt of fear. I slayed my brethren with a heavy heart, but really needed those kill counts. Once my staircases ran out, the real mayhem commenced. Some floors felt like I had put on 3 monster musks at once, making it very hard to look for staircases. I bombed, and I fought, and I slayed, and I made it to level 92, where I passed out as 2 a.m. rolled around. It was kind of disappointing, but I felt I had given it my best shot. How wonderful to continue in a brand new year and not in the middle of winter. Kent introduced himself on day 113. I was still wearing my dino outfit from my last Skull Caverns run and obviously wanted to get into the spring feeling. So after tailoring a spring shirt with a spring onion and putting on my relaxed fit shorts and an orchid headband, which is one of the hats from the new mod, I got to work on the farm. I cleared off debris, put down more iridium sprinklers, then bought and planted 24 of each spring crop to cook and craft with, as well as 192 rhubarb seeds for kegging. The abandoned Joja Mart was finally struck by lightning that night, even though I had finished the community center weeks ago. I said hi to my animals for the first time in what felt like forever on day 114, then went to the Shrine of Illusions to get pink hair to match my fit. I had had the items for the abandoned bundle ready for quite a while, so I was able to complete it right away. Go on now, be with your friends, you poor thing. I asked the Statue of Uncertainty to reset my mining professions, then headed to the island to clear off the farmland, take the dangers in the deep quest, and find my first snake vertebrae. The Junimos turned the abandoned supermarket into a movie theater while I slept, and I chose the geologist and excavator professions. I'm gonna need hundreds of geodes to finish the museum and trade in for hats at the desert. Some starfruit wine was ready on day 115. I picked up the island ingredients quest to ship 100 pineapples, though I would have preferred taro roots, but I'll see what I can do. I gave Emily an aquamarine and finally got her up to 10 hearts, then started working my way down the reset mines. By the way, I'll be running on pure caffeine-induced adrenaline for the upcoming year, thanks to the hot Java ring I got in the last 100 days. I always forget how hard the enemies hit down here, but I survived and even got my first galaxy soul, making it down to level 17 and heading home for the night. On day 116, I tailored an excavator shirt using a nautilus fossil and put on my fedora and relaxed fit pants to look the part for my plans for that day. After handing Kent a birthday daffodil, I headed back into the mines, hoping to get as far down as possible and collect as many geodes as I could. Unexpected prismatic shards are the best prismatic shards. I left on level 53 to be back in bed before passing out. It was so nice to see my little Junimos harvesting their first crops on day 117. Progress down the mines was extremely slow. I almost died and was too nauseated to eat anything, so I had to leave on level 56 to wait until the debuff wore off. Only made it down to level 65 before having to leave. On day 118, the starfruit in my greenhouse was ready. I planted more, including some ancient fruit seeds, and kegged them straight away. I tailored a cowboy poncho with a rusty spur, dyed my pants to match, and put on a scary-looking Devarucci hat from the Hat Mouse to scare the monsters into submission. Emily and I bonded over our love of fabrics. Isn't she dreamy? Then I headed back to the mines. My outfit and being well prepared with enough food really helped, and I made it to level 85. Day 119 was a Sunday and my last chance to finish the key quest to get to the bottom of the mines. It was a super bad luck day, just what I need. After quickly doing my farm chores, handing a birthday pepper to Lewis, and collecting the oak resin, it was back to the mines. I never thought seeing a mushroom floor would bring up trauma. Am I the only one who didn't know that enemies could drop seed makers? Yeah, so I died. I lost 5,000 G and 13 things from my backpack, including all of my oak resin. That's a bummer. I ate a purple mushroom and tried to make it all the way down, but passed out on level 104. These key quests are not going well for me. On day 120, I saw that my Junimos had picked lots of crops, including the inventory-killing tulips and blue jazz. I made sure to put a few of everything into my fridge before kegging the rest. Chu found her first truffles, so I shipped one and put the second one into an oil maker. After trading my Omni Geodes for artifact troves at the desert and buying 250 more starfruit seeds from Sandy, I made Clint crack everything open. I was able to donate tons to the museum, getting a crystallarium and a magic rock candy, and only needed to donate 4 more things to finish it, one of them being a strange doll I could hoe up, because I had already found the secret note. I also picked up Robin's Resource Rush quest. I crafted 5 more crystallariums, added them all to my shed, then tailored a clown getup, with a miner's treat to make a propeller hat and a tomato for a tomato shirt. It was only fitting for what I had to do next. I went to Marlin and asked him to find my oak resin, having to ignore the buttload of espressos I lost. At least I was getting pretty close to a lot of the Monster Slayer goals. The 30 oak resin were in the mail on day 121. Thank you, Marlin. I crafted 30 more kegs, as well as another chest to add to my design corner, since the other ones were getting full, and 3 more preserves jars for all the fish roe I had. Look how nice and colorful the ponds are. I added the kegs to the quarry, then went to Ginger Island where I finally planted some pineapples for the Island Ingredients quest. Who knows if I'll be able to get the 100 pineapples in time. When I slayed the tiger slimes on the little plateau, I got the monster eradication goal for killing 1,000 slimes. I also picked up Key's kindness quest. I know I'll be able to finish this one. I decided to plant all the taro roots that had been piling up in my chest on day 122. With tons of presents in my backpack, I handed out love gifts to anyone I saw in the valley. When I walked into the mayor's house, I got to watch my girlfriend inspire others to break out of their shells and try on something new for a change. Why are you so gross? I was jealous and wanted my own new fit. So I tailored a slime shirt from a petrified slime, bought a green beret that represents bravery, and turned my hair green in commemoration of killing all those slimes. Gingham got my propeller hat, and I chopped enough wood to finish Robin's quest. I continued to hand out gifts for most of day 123, taking a quick break to pick up the slime charmer ring from Gil. The only other thing I did was that I started the fetch quest from Seaweed Lady by giving the picture to Kent and the gourmet tomato salt to Gus. I'll try to finish this tomorrow. I needed as much luck as I could get on day 124, so I made a Yobo shirt with solar essence and put on my lucky bow. After handing the valley roast to Sandy, I ate a spicy eel, drank a ginger ale, and got on the one-armed bandit in the casino. I actually got 3 star drops, and after a while, I wanted to try blackjack to get bigger wins. But after losing 10,000 coins, I went back to the Calico spin machine. I'm not ready for the big leagues. I had over 90,000 coins when I got bored and traded them in for 9 alien rare crows. I handed the remote from Sandy to George, gave the wizard the Arctic shard, and Willy the worm. It was raining on the island, so Birdie would have to get the pirate's lock at some other time. After a volcano run, I combined the hot java ring and the slime charmer ring at the forge. I was feeling nostalgic on day 125 because it was egg hunt day, which had kicked off my fashion journey just a year ago. Time flies when you're staying swaggy. Lots of starfruit wine was ready, and I refilled the kegs with vegetables harvested by my Junimos before heading to the festival. I bought over 300 strawberry seeds and won the egg hunt, even though the prize this year was very disappointing in comparison to the straw hat. At the end of the day, I put down all the speaker I had and as many strawberry seeds as I could. The starfruit wine I shipped made me over 370,000 G. The next day, my rhubarbs were ready and replaced with strawberry seeds. The porch light's on, but no one's home. The rhubarbs were kegged, then I commissioned a new barn from Robin. I spent a good part of the day looking for Haley to give her a birthday coconut, which finally completed the Key's kindness quest too. After collecting more oak resin and adding more kegs to the quarry, I spent the rest of the evening adding pathing to the farm and getting an idea of what the top of it will look like. On day 127, I made myself a rusty shirt with a rusty spoon and put my trusty old straw hat back on. Hey buddy, long time no see. I also finally got around to changing the colors of my chests to match the aesthetic of my farm. How has it taken me this long? After giving the bear some maple syrup, hello, and handing Evelyn a leek she had asked for George, I talked to Alex for the first time in forever. Please get over yourself. Then I went to Ginger Island, put down sprinklers, and planted a few more pineapples. I visited Key's walnut room, chose his Hungry Challenge quest, and used the key gems I had to get the key to the town and a few mushroom tree seeds. Back in the valley, I took Leo to the movies to watch The Brave Little Sapling, then started to work on what I was envisioning for the top of the farm. A little hangout spot for my alien rare crows that will wear all the hats I collect. It's obviously not finished yet, but I mean, it's something. I planted my mushroom tree seeds with some speed grow, then picked and simultaneously replanted my starfruits on day 128. I wanted to look like part of the alien family I had started, so after changing my appearance at the Wizard, I tailored radioactive goggles with a radioactive bar, a green shirt with a jade, and dyed my pants to match. Take me to your leader. Then I headed to the island, checked the western part for dig spots, since I still need a second snake vertebrae, but didn't find one, and handed Birdie her late husband's locket. I hit up the volcano for a chance at the tiger hat, and didn't find that either, but at least there was a deluxe pirate hat in a rare chest. Editing Mimi here. This is, in fact, not a deluxe pirate hat. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote this script. Nothing much happened on day 129. The taro roots were fully grown, and after picking them, I traded in magma caps for pineapple seeds at the island trader. Then it was off to the volcano again. I really want that tiger hat, and the enemies can also drop pineapple seeds, even though I'm pretty sure that quest is a lost cause at this point. I completed the Monster Slayer goal for killing magma sprites today, which was kind of neat. My veggie juices were ready on day 130, and the kegs were refilled with starfruit. One of the last artifacts I needed, a chicken statue, popped out of the dig spot. Then I asked Robin to upgrade my new barn. Oh, Pam, I wish I didn't identify with you as much as I do. I, too, love me a good beer. I spent the rest of the day decorating my farm a bit. I want the aliens to feel at home here, and like to think they come from a planet that's lush and green. Day 131 was a super good luck day, and I wanted to make the most of it, so I attempted my Skull Caverns run without eating to complete the key quest I still had to do. I downed an espresso and munched on my rock candy from Gunther, then headed in. Thanks to my slime charmer ring, I didn't have to worry about slimes, which definitely helped. I got not one, but 2 auto petters from chests, and made it down to level 100 by 3:30 p.m., where Mr. Key was waiting for me to give me my iridium snilk. I even found a dark cowboy hat in a chest on level 144, which is one of the hats you can only find in the Skull Caverns. By 2 a.m., I had made it down to level 161, and was very pleased with my efforts. Day 132 was a rainy day. I put the auto petters into my barn and coop, then got the last barn upgrade I needed. I'm not proud to admit that I knocked on Shane's door pretty rudely, or more like I tried to break it down, but it worked, and he came out, so I could give him his birthday beer. The old mariner was standing out on the beach and sold me a mermaid's pendant. Of course, my proposal outfit had to be perfect, so I went back to my usual skin color and dyed my hair a light pink, then tailored a necklace shirt with refined quartz, a skirt made from a blue jazz, put on a red charming ribbon from the Hat Mouse, and used the dyeing pots to color coordinate everything. I proposed to Emily in front of all of her friends and regulars at the saloon, and she accepted. Hey guys, drinks on me! I'm getting married! Sucks to be you, Clint. My mushroom trees were fully grown on day 133. I immediately chopped them down since I hadn't planted them to beautify the farm, although I must say I do like the way the simple foliage mod makes them look. But because I want to get the mushroom cap. Welp, no luck this time. Lots of rhubarb wine was ready, which I sold at Pierre's, putting me over 1,000,000 G. That meant I could afford the desert obelisk. Back on the island, I took the 5 prismatic shards and all the cinder shards I had to the forge to start getting some good enchantments. I had already enchanted my sword twice in the first year, never getting anything worth my while. But this time I got Crusader, which was exactly what I wanted. Now I can kill mummies and get cloth even more easily. I had to enchant my pickaxe twice to get swift, got shaving on my axe right away, perfect, and reaching on my hoe, which I didn't want. But I didn't have any more prismatic shards, so I would have to try again some other time. Why are you still beating this dead horse, Mimi? On day 134, I handed Mara a cactus fruit she had asked for on the Help Wanted board, chose the Wizard's Ectoplasm quest from the Special Orders board, then headed to the island. My trip was kinda pointless since there still weren't any pineapples or dig spots on the farm. The Dangers in the Deep quest was available again, and I wanted to redeem myself, so I took it. I made sure to get some cheese and spicy eels from a chest before getting to work on the reset mines. Despite the bad luck and my late start, I made it down to level 17 before having to head home. Not bad. Day 135 started out like something out of a fairy tale. Emily looked gorgeous in her dress that had a hint of blue that matched her hair. My bridal outfit was a shirt tailored from an ornamental fan, a veil made from a pearl, and a simple dress made from honey that I had dyed to be snow white. And so they lived happily ever after. Emily had more of a no-nonsense attitude and told me to get to work making the moolah, so that's what I did. I moved Lagerfeld, McQueen, Corduroy, and Baby Doll into the fully upgraded barn. Robin was on her way to her gym class when I asked her to paint my barn and start working on a new coop. I got my first banana from the tree in my greenhouse, then it was back to the mines. Bridezilla coming through! It was the flower dance on day 136, and this year I wanted to go. I knew who I wanted to dance with, and I still needed the last festival exclusive rare crow. I couldn't dye anything since I couldn't get into Emily's old house or buy something new from the Hat Mouse because going there would start the festival, but I think my outfit was still pretty spot on when I tailored a high-waisted shirt made from basic fertilizer and put on my orchid headband. After buying the rare crow and the tub of flowers recipe, I talked to all the villagers in their cute outfits. You can't tell me Evelyn doesn't look incredible. Clint had the nerve to ask me if I thought my wife would dance with him before I asked her myself, and we happily grooved together. I got the deluxe scarecrow recipe in the mail on day 137. My outfit for the day needed to give me strength for the enemies in the mines, so I made a white ghee with a pale broth and put on a bao from the Hat Mouse. Then kegged strawberries and rhubarb before continuing to make my way down. I sped through the forest levels with the pesky putrid ghosts and got an ectoplasm from one of them. Made it to level 75 when it started getting late, so I headed back to bed. On day 138, I chopped down 2 more mushroom trees without luck, then realized I had forgotten to open the gate of the sheep barn. My poor babies, I'm so sorry. They were woolly and I didn't have shears, so after picking and replanting starfruits and handing over the ectoplasm to the wizard, I paid Marnie a visit. Shane was in a drunken stupor, but I was able to help with my trusty watering can. I bought another auto-grabber and heater, then got 8 more sheep to fill up the barn. Patchy, Fishnet, Glitter, Jersey, Lame, Merino, Nylon, and Poncho. Caroline, that was a birthday gift for your husband, you greedy thing. The rest of the day was spent getting further down the mines. A flying skull dropped a skeleton shirt, I finished slaying skeletons and void spirits for the monster eradication goals, and I died on level 98. I gave Emily a birthday aquamarine on day 139, who was so in love with me that she gave me a star drop. Thank you, my fashion muse. I visited my little woolly princesses, added 2 more signs to my slimejack and lava eel ponds, then went to Robin to commission an upgrade for my coop. After that, it was back to the mines. I was doing pretty well despite the terrible luck today and even got a double squire's helmet drop from one of the metalheads. I was so close to getting all the way down, but passed out on level 118 at 2 a.m. Straight back down I went on day 140. I made it to the bottom by 12 p.m. Okay, so I didn't collect 100 pineapples. Or keg 12 potatoes for Pam, which I hadn't even told you about yet because I'm kind of ashamed of how bad I've been at finishing these quests. But at least I finished the ectoplasm and mines quest this week. These quests had been stressing me out, and I wanted a nice fit to get ready for summer tomorrow. That's why I tailored a strap top with coral, put on my relaxed fit shorts, and a choppa clip I had bought from the Hat Mouse, then dyed everything in Emily's crafts room. I also went to the wizard for a nice new hair color. The oak resin was ready again, so I made 30 more kegs and added them to the quarry. Big surprise, everyone! The first day of a new season started with me scything my dead crops and prepping everything for new seeds. Just like in spring, I planned on buying 24 of every crop and filling up everything else with the best crop to keg, starfruits. Honestly though, why was I in Pierre's bedroom? I found my first wilderness golem of the year that night. When creating the farm in the first 100 days, I had explicitly decided to have monsters spawn on my farm to have a better chance at getting the living hat from these suckers. But it seems like all the pathing I'm putting down is making it nearly impossible for them to appear. On day 142, I decided to put on a new summer fit. A tube top tailored from a sea cucumber and a shark hat from the hat mouse.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I picked up the quest to give Gus 24 eggs before heading to the island, where I saw the potatoes and the pineapples fully grown, and felt that twang of shame again. I forgot that straight away though when I found the last snake vertebrae I needed. Whoop whoop! I also decided to pick up the Dangers in the Deep quest again and use the key gems I had to get myself a horse flute and 3 more mushroom seeds. Come, Gingham, Professor Snail needs this snake spine. After finishing my farm chores on day 143, I commissioned Robin to give me another coop upgrade, and asked Penny to go to the movies with me. This dude was hogging the crane game, which made me a bit sad before watching Journey of the Prairie King. There's something very soothing about getting to open a cajillion geodes. I actually didn't even need to open all of them, since I found the last 2 minerals I needed for the museum almost right away. But I just really love surprises. I'm ready for that star drop, Gunther. Although I was still really liking my shark hat, this called for a celebratory outfit, so I used a golden mask and an Omni Geode to tailor a mask and a shirt. I bought 200 more starfruit seeds from Sandy, then kegged lots of coffee beans, starfruits, and strawberries. Being a walking artifact was cool and all that, but I was planning on going to the island on day 144 and wanted a getup to match. So I tailored an island bikini from a golden coconut and a pirate hat with a treasure chest. Before I shipped off, I gave Gus 24 eggs, completing his famous omelet quest, and handed Jazz a pink cake for her birthday. I just planted a miscellaneous assortment of seeds that had been piling up in my chests on the island farm for the rest of the day. I've done it again, y'all. I forgot to change the day counter on day 145. I'll realize my mistake tomorrow. I accidentally put an egg into the incubator while taking care of my chickens. It's a happy accident, I guess. My deluxe coop was finally ready, so I moved Dolce and Gabbana into it and went to Marnie's to buy 10 more rabbits to fill it up. Say hello to Spandex, Tulle, Velvet, Petticoat, Mary Jane, like the shoe, not the plant, Macrame, Kimono, Flannel, Chelsea, like the boots, and Brocade. While I was at Robin's to paint my coop, I asked her to upgrade my house for the final time. Since I knew I'd start getting lots more wool soon, I crafted more looms and started rearranging my design area. I was very confused about why I couldn't pick up this chest, and it took me a while to understand that the Tropiclip was still in it. You can see it if you squint. Day 146 started in a very satisfying way. Who has 2 thumbs and is an up-and-coming cloth mogul? This lady right here. A train was passing through Stardew Valley right in the middle of me changing my getup, but I didn't want to miss it, so I sped off with Gingham. Well, it's nothing special, but it's something. Back to the tailoring. In celebration of my sheep and rabbits, I made a fluffy shirt with a chicken statue, put on a fluffy animal hat from the Hat Mouse, and dyed my pants and hair a snowy white. Long live the floofs! I downed a lucky lunch and a ginger ale, then went to the desert casino to gamble for 13 more alien rare crows. You get a hat, and you get a hat, and you get a hat. I love my job. Day 147 was a Sunday and a very good luck day. So after trading 116 jades for staircases at the Desert Trader and collecting oak resin, I staircased my way through the reset mines, only stopping to mine radioactive ore. It's so nice to find 2500 G just lying around. My trek went well, and I was getting some pretty nice loot, including a delicioso mine tortilla, and made it to the bottom right before 1 a.m. When I lay my head to rest that night, a strange sound could be heard outside. Day 148, Emily asked for 200 fiber. She knows how much I love surprises. I don't deserve her. I chopped down more mushroom trees to no avail, then saw that my growing alien family had attracted a strange capsule. The star fruit in my greenhouse was ready, and I was able to plant 14 more ancient fruit seeds. Since it was raining, I tailored a raincoat with a snail and bought a sakat from the hat mouse against the downpour. I spent the day chopping trees and looking for fiber for my beloved. I also picked up the tropical fish quest from the special orders board, and when I went to give Gus a birthday orange, I walked into this abomination of a cutscene, where Clint tried to hit on my wife right in front of me. This motivated me to ramp up my fiber finding, so I spammed level 81 of the mines to farm it. It was getting late, so I was heading home and looked into my inventory to see how much fiber I had gotten, when I realized I had gotten the living hat. How fitting. It was the love for my fashionable wife that led to the rarest of all drops. I slayed my last wilderness golem on the farm and didn't give a frick about its drops. On day 149, I made a grass skirt with hay and a leafy shirt with a jaguite to go with my prized possession. Look, I'm a humanoid bush. You can call me Tony the Tiger, 'cause I feel great. I took a strange bun to the Shrine of Night Terrors to get rid of monsters on my farm because I'm a woman who don't need no wilderness golems, then went straight to the Skull Caverns on this very good luck day. I actually don't know why I was surprised, since this just had to be the outfit I was wearing when finding my first lucky ring. Now, I'm in a bit of a pickle since I really like my ring combos, but obviously I also want more luck. Today was also the day I finished my monster eradication goal for mummies, my friends that had kicked off my designing career exactly 100 days ago. I swear, it's like Yoba is sending me a sign that I am doing the work I was destined for. Day 150, I thought about tailoring a lucky fit in celebration of my new lucky ring, but I couldn't think of anything more lucky than getting the rarest hat in the game, so my bushy getup will stay for another day. I love you guys. My first starfruit harvest was ready, along with some other crops, so I made a quick visit to Sandy's to buy 500 more seeds. After planting them, I decided it was the perfect day to give a rabbit's foot to the truck driver next to the movie theater and get the lucky charm. My kegs were also ready, and I was able to craft 30 more to add to the quarry. I made $500,000 that night thanks to all the wine. The alien had escaped on day 151.
And when I find whoever let it out, they're dead.
My happy accident chicken had hatched, and I named her Hand-Me-Down. I knew I couldn't keep my living hat on forever, unfortunately, so I tailored a pair of shorts with some grapes, a vacation shirt with a coconut, and sunglasses with a cinder shard. It was the perfect luau outfit. Gingham had been wearing the shark hat for quite a while, but I gave her my precious living hat for safekeeping. Once I arrived at the beach, I bought some decorations for the farm and my house, talked to all the villagers. What exactly is that, Linus? Added a gold star cheese to the soup, and watched my wife try to seduce me with her dance moves. Apparently, the soup was gooder than grits. After taking care of the farm, I went to Emily's dyeing pots to turn my shorts orange on day 152. What can I say? I'm a sucker for complementary colors. I was heading to Willie's boat when Alex, who still doesn't even know my name properly, chucked a football at my face. Be the bigger person. Be the bigger person. All of the forageables I had planted on the island were ready, so I picked them and turned them back into seeds to sell, since it's more profitable to sell them that way. The pineapples and rice were also ready and shipped. Mr. Key gave me my chance for revenge from the last 100 days, and I plan on conquering the Skull Caverns invasion quest this time. I traded the key gems I had for the hyper speed grow and deluxe fertilizer recipes, then planted some rhubarb seeds and put a banana on the Gorillas Jungle Shrine in exchange for 3 golden walnuts. Then I worked on the tropical fish quest for the rest of the day. On day 153, I made the difficult decision to unforge my hot Java ring in favor of the lucky ring. I had accumulated quite a lot of coffee and espressos, so they should last me for a while. I found the secret note showing me where to dig up the very last golden walnut I needed, which was also hiding an ostrich egg. Willie's tropical fish quest was completed after a few hours, then I headed back to the valley. Alex was asking for an earth crystal, and since it was his birthday, I took the quest and cooked him a complete breakfast, in the hopes that I wouldn't have to deal with him anymore after today. But looks like that was just wishful thinking. I hear you, brother. I just had to cook a meal for Alex, and he's still not at full hearts.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
I warped to the desert right away on day 154, got as many staircases as I could from the desert trader and staircased down. The Skull Caverns invasion quest would not best me this time. Not like on the last day of my first 100 days video. Thanks to my key hat, my midnight dog jacket tailored from squid ink, and my blue skin and hair, I looked exactly like Mr. Key. You can't kill me, I'm your maker. I still couldn't resist a dino floor on level 44, where I got the Monster Slayer achievement. My prize in the chest on level 100 made my triumph even better, the blue cowboy hat, one of the hats you can only find in the Skull Caverns. My run went marvelously, and I passed out on level 174 at 2 a.m. After sorting away my loot from yesterday, which included 5 prismatic shards, almost 300 iridium ore, and 47 cloth, I put on my blue cowboy hat and did my farm chores. I wanted to clean up my quest log a bit, so after gathering the oak resin from the train station, I fished for a largemouth bass for Jody's invitation from last year. Oh no, not you again. Then, I handed Demetrius a pufferfish, Pierre a sashimi, Robin 10 hardwood, Penny a grape, had dinner with Jody, Kent, and Sam, and gave Kent the starfruit he had asked for. Phew! I asked Maru to go to the movies with me and thought she might like the Star Drop sorbet. No one was hogging the crane game, so I got a few decorations for the farm before watching Journey of the Prairie King for the second time. I wanted to start incubating my ostrich egg, but couldn't remember where I had put the dang thing. Day 156 was another very good luck day. I tailored a bomber jacket with a cherry bomb and baggy pants with a slime egg. Then I quickly changed back to my usual skin color, dyed my hair orange to stand out against the blue hat, and dyed my pants to match. I had a pretty good run through the Skull Caverns and made sure to pick up all the Omni Geodes I could get my little hands on. I took a closer look at my loot on day 157 and realized I already had enough Omni Geodes to trade at the Desert Trader for one of the prismatic head pieces. I'll have to do that soon. The starfruit wine was ready, and I kegged an assortment of different crops that I had on me. It was Sam's birthday, and I found him in the museum, where I gave him an iridium quality cactus fruit. Then I chugged off to the island where my starfruits were fully grown, which was good, since I hadn't been able to fill up all of my kegs yet. I got the magic bait recipe with the key gems I had, and took the prismatic grange quest. After admiring the vast expanse of the universe with Maru, I kegged the rest of my island crops. So, by now I have checked every chest I have, including the tailoring ones, but just can't find the ostrich egg. This is extremely worrying. Thanks to my plentiful bounty of wine, I made almost 900,000 G that night. Y'all, I looked back at my footage to see which chest I put my ostrich egg into. I cooked my ostrich egg into a gift for Alex.
No! God, please, no!
You know what? I think I deserve this. Karma's a bitch, and that's what I had been to Alex for the past 157 days. Is he a great person? No, not really. Does he say some of the most downright abominable things at times? Yes, he does. But did that give me the right to stoop down to his level and be an awful person in return? No, most definitely not. And this was the way I would have to pay for my misstep. I was planning on putting on my trusty old dunce cap and this Bobo shirt I tailored from a strange doll, but I remembered I had enough Omni Geodes to get something new at the desert. I gave Gingham the propeller hat instead. You are an enabler, Gingham. You deserve this just as much as I do. Then warped to the desert to buy 300 starfruit seeds, 200 deluxe speed grows, trade 3 prismatic shards for a rock candy, and 333 Omni Geodes for a magic turban. Afterwards, I used the Wizard's Book of Summoning to get the island obelisk and used it straight away. I put down all the speedgrow and starfruit seeds I could before starting to look for the ostrich egg in the volcano. You can only find them in rare chests, but I only saw a regular one on level 9 that I didn't even get to on time before passing out. I also spent days 159 and 160 in the volcano, where I got a total of 3 boring chests and 1 rare one. It's so sad that my designer heart is disappointed to get a cool new hat instead of a frickin' egg. The only other important things that happened were that I was able to harvest more starfruits, and I changed into my deluxe pirate hat and a gaudy shirt made from a soapstone on day 160. I took a break from the volcano on day 161 to give Pam pale ale and finally finish collecting fiber for Emily and for Key's prismatic grange. I headed to the mutant bug lair first, which was very bountiful. I had collected enough to give 200 fiber to Emily, but was still missing some for Key. Unfortunately, the dangerous version of the mines I had turned on makes it much harder to find fiber, and I only had 67 when I was close to dying and decided to head home. I used the rest of the little time I had today to start filling out my shipping collection. Day 162 was the dwarf's birthday, so I made sure to visit him and give him a topaz. Some pale ales and veggie juices were ready, and I kegged more hops in their stead. My oak resin was also ready, and I decided to chop the trees at the railroad. Afterwards, I wanted to try finishing the prismatic grange with the tree fertilizer that was starting to pile up in my chests, but I couldn't add it to the box. So I used some of the oak resin instead. Key's kindness quest was up for grabs, and since I still need to work on friendships anyway, I went with that. Day 163, I wanted an outfit that would help me get this loved gifts quest done quickly, so I tailored an energy tonic into a Letterman jacket and put on a small cap I had gotten from the island trader for 30 taro roots yesterday. Handing out this many presents is a sport. The starfruit in my greenhouse was fully grown, and I was able to replace it with quite a few more ancient seeds. Handing out gifts is pretty much all I did for the rest of the day, getting quite a few cutscenes with various villagers. Here, Lewis, you sicko. I also picked up the quest from Robin to collect 80 hardwood. Hi, Alex. Your hair looks really nice today. When I stopped by the Adventurers Guild, I realized I still had quite a few rewards to pick up, including the skeleton mask, arcane hat, and knight's helmet. Looks like I only need to kill about 100 more serpents to be a monster slayer hero. I love this lady. Leah was at my doorstep on day 164 to give me a sculpture.
What is that?
Lots of kegs were ready once again, and I was able to add 36 more to the quarry. Then I was off to hand out the last loved gifts to complete Key's quest. I am so glad you like it, Alex. Have a great day. Days 165, 166, 167, and 168 were full of more volcano runs to try to find the friggin' ostrich egg. I started by tailoring an arcane outfit with the wizard's arcane hat from the Adventurers Guild and an arcane shirt tailored from a void essence. Maybe the mystic arts will help me find it. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Here's a supercut of all of the chests I found in these 4 days. Other than that, the most important things that happened were that I continued to collect hardwood for Robin's quest, harvested lots of rhubarb on the island and replaced it with starfruit, and Leo decided to move to the valley after I gave him a birthday mango. When I realized that my arcane outfit wasn't working, I tailored a trout soup into a ranger shirt and donned a deluxe cowboy hat I had gotten from the island trader. I'm just interested in protecting our precious wildlife. That's why I want to find the egg. I was confused about the magic turban that stopped changing colors when I put it on one of the aliens, then completed Robin's hardwood quest, getting the big help achievement. I picked up a tropical TV from the island trader, and on the evening of day 168, Emily gave me my new prized possessions, her self-made outfit, complete with boots. I proudly wore it while watching the dance of the moonlight jellies with her as summer came to a close. Day 169 marked the beginning of fall, and normally I would have changed into a new outfit, but I had just gotten Emily's outfit and would not disrespect her like that, so I'll keep it on for now. I planted and fertilized all the seeds, this time opting for pumpkins as my keggable moneymakers. Day 170 was Penny's birthday, and I gave her an emerald. I had over 1,000,000 G in my pockets, and after finding the final clam I needed at the beach, I made my way to the wizard to get the last 2 obelisks. But before I could get there, Penny asked me to give the children a little lesson. Unfortunately, they didn't want to hear about my designing experience. Once I placed the earth and water obelisks on my farm, I crafted hundreds of fiber seeds and planted them on the island. Mr. Key's crop quest was up for grabs, and I've never completed it before, so I decided to challenge myself to do it this time around. 60% perfect. That's a D, and unacceptable. Day 171 was a very good luck day, so I tailored myself a gray suit using an esperite and put on a boy's cap to look semi-professional. I'll be hitting up the Skull Caverns, and I mean business. I want to grind out Omnigeode and Keybean collecting and kill as many serpents as I can, since they're the last monster eradication goal I have to complete. Once I have enough Omnigeodes to get the last 2 hats at the Desert Trader, I'll finally be able to change back my mining professions, to start selling metal bars to supplement my income. By the end of the day, I had made it down to level 146 and collected 23 Keybeans, 93 Omnigeodes, almost 200 Iridium ores, and 2 more prismatic shards. It was time for some farm maintenance I'd been slacking on day 172. My kegs were ready and refilled with starfruit and rhubarb, and I was almost able to finally completely fill up my greenhouse with ancient fruit seeds. I got some hay for my starving animals and wondered if the whole put a fence post on grass so it can't be fully eaten by the animals thing really works, or if I'm just doing something wrong. I opened some geodes at Clint's and finally got a petrified slime that the slime jacks in my fish pond had been asking for quite some time. Some pineapple plants were sacrificed in order to make room for my first 30 Keybeans I had collected, and that night, my beverages made me over 1.1 million G. Since my tailoring chests were overflowing again, on day 173 I put down some aquatic sanctuaries I had been getting from Key's walnut room over the past few weeks, filled them with sea urchins, and put hats on them. It was time to get back to work looking for that ostrich egg again, so I tailored a tropical curry into a tropical sunrise shirt and put on a chicken mask I bought from the Hat Mouse. I mean, an ostrich is basically just a tropical chicken. Tomato, tomato, am I right? I gave Kira's missing stock list, then warped to the island. The next 4 days will, once again, be dominated by volcano runs. The only exciting things that happened were that I planted some more Keybeans I found, traded jades for staircases, and was able to harvest the first key crops and turn them into even more beans to replant them. In case you didn't know, putting your key crops into seed makers is the most efficient way to get more beans. I also got the last bougie enchantments I wanted. Bottomless on my watering can, generous on my hoe, and master on my fishing rod. Now I just need to get some galaxy souls for my galaxy sword to finish that goal. Then, on day 176, I picked up the extended family quest and changed up my outfit since the whole tropical chicken thing wasn't working. I'm a hunter now, sporting a hunter's cap from the Hat Mouse and a canvas jacket tailored from a chewing stick. I went with the island ingredients quest to get 100 taro roots. Now that I can do.
Shh! Be very quiet. I'm hunting ostrich eggs.
And? Do you think it worked? It did! Thank you, Yoba. Thank you. I swear, I'll never be mean to Alex again. Oopsie. Day 177 still says 176 at the top. I was so excited about what had just happened that I forgot to change the number. You understand, I'm sure. The fiber on the island farm was ready. This is bliss. Then I planted all the taro roots I had been getting from my volcano runs and replanted more fiber seeds. You go right here. Sheesh. The next things I wanted to hunt in my getup were the legendary fish for Key's quest. So with the help of some wild bait and a trap bobber on my newly enchanted fishing rod, I successfully hooked and caught the Legend 2 and 2 Miss Anglers before it was time to hit the hay. In the sewers. On day 178, I checked in on my ostrich egg. Ready yet? No? Okay, take your time. It's always so satisfying to be able to load up all of the looms with wool. I wanted to finish Mr. Key's quest, and to look the part, I tailored a dish of the sea into a shirt of the sea, and put on this fish hat from the mod. Let me know what you think of this outfit. I know it's not becoming to fish for compliments, but I think I look really sophisticated. Making my way to the different spots in the valley, I fished up the radioactive carp, the son of crimson fish, and the glacier fish jr. 25 more key gems in the bag. Day 179 was a super good luck day, and I was preparing to go to the Skull Caverns, but realized I had a lot to do on the farm. So after putting some of my legendary fish into one of the tanks and tailoring a soft arrow shirt out of an arrowhead, I did the grown-up thing and finished my chores. I rebeaned and replanted key fruit that was fully grown on the island. I think I'm gonna need more seed makers. Cleared out the bat cave for the first time in forever. Bought 150 starfruit seeds from Sandy and traded in 3 prismatic shards for a magic rock candy, as it was a Thursday. After selling some of the weapons and rings that were starting to fill up my chests to Marlin, I saw that my kegs were ready. I had over 1 full stack of coffee beans, so I decided to keg those. They processed so quickly that I had just finished filling up the kegs when the first ones were finished. Passed out while trying to fill all of the kegs with starfruit. Day 180. After helping my Junimos pick the pumpkins, it was straight back to kegging. What were you doing in my shed, Marlin? I planted more key beans and pumpkins and kind of just did nothing for the rest of the day. Right before going to bed, I put the rest of my legendary fish and some seaweed and rocks into the fish tanks. It was a Skull Caverns day on day 181. I still needed to kill more serpents and collect more Omni Geodes, so I tailored a flame shirt with a spicy eel and a swashbuckler hat with a dragon tooth. I munched on a magic rock candy and had over 100 staircases in my pockets to blow. I mean, just look at it. It's beautiful. I know they say too much of a good thing is a bad thing, but I never wanted this day to end. On day 182, I still had happy hormones coursing through my veins from yesterday's events, so I was like, why not just do it again? This is exactly how drugs work, so please be mindful, children. I quickly put my loot away, bought more bombs from the dwarf, and was back at it. Despite the fact that I didn't have any staircases today, it still went extremely well. I was even able to finally achieve the last monster eradication goal, one step closer to perfection. I passed out on level 195, only 4 floors less than yesterday. I was tired of watching my poor woolly babies starve, so on day 183, I went to Marnie's, at 7 a.m. on a Monday, by the way, thanks to the key to the town, and was able to buy hundreds of hay. My Junimos had harvested lots of crops over the past 3 days, and the ones on the island were ready to be picked as well. I had 266 key crops and was pretty sure today would be the last time I would need to rebean and replant them. So that's what I did for the rest of the day. Ooh, surprise ancient seed. Ooh, 2 more. Dang it. Day 184 was the second Stardew Valley fair of my Swaggy playthrough. I was still really liking the swashbuckler hat, but I wanted to look a bit more farmery for the fair, so I used a hazelnut to tailor brown overalls. I was hoping it would match my brown pants, but as you can see, the shades are just not the same. Why can't I go into Emily's old house to use her dyeing pots just because it's a festival day? We're married, for God's sake. Before I went into town, I harvested all of the fiber and taro roots that were ready on the island. Finally, finishing Caroline's tropical ingredients quest felt so good. Since I had already won last year's Grange competition, I didn't feel like I needed to prove myself to anyone, so I just put in a bunch of prismatic shards and a key bean. It still got me second place, and I didn't tell Pierre I let him win. Caroline sent me the solar panel recipe in the mail on day 185. When I visited Robin to buy the furniture catalog, we first had to explain to Demetrius that beautiful things are just as valid as functional ones. Next, I stopped off at Pierre's to get the wallpaper catalog. I finally wanted to start beautifying the farm and began with the alien area. My approach was to put down a lot of plants, and although I preferred having grass growing instead of just having the bare ground under them, you couldn't really see anything I was putting down. I don't know if I like it like this, and will probably change it in the future. I was able to craft 51 more kegs and add them to the quarry. And since I had some extra sprinklers from my Skull Caverns runs, I added them to the island farm with some more starfruit and ancient seeds. Day 186 was a day of harvesting, planting, kegging, and selling. I shipped hundreds of key fruits, planted artichokes and ancient fruits, then went to the desert to trade in 3 more prismatic shards for a rock candy, and bought 400 more starfruit seeds for the island. My kegs were refilled with whatever I had lying around, and I shipped all of the bottles I had collected. I made $500,000 that night, which was pretty good. The next day was marvelous. My ostrich had finally hatched, and I named her Button. Look at her. She's a miracle baby. Hundreds more key fruits were ready, and I replaced them with more artichoke and fall forage seeds. I hadn't changed my outfit in a while and wanted to start working on completing the cooking collection, so I made an oil-stained shirt with, well, some oil, and a headscarf with a red mushroom. For sanitary reasons, you know? The tailoring chests were getting out of control, so I got a dresser from my furniture catalog to put all my shirts into. Then I got to work cooking. I had been pretty good about keeping a little bit of everything, although I still needed a few fish and crops. It was raining, so I was able to get one of the missing fish, an eel, right away. Oh, and I also took the 4 precious stones quest from Mr. Key. Day 188 was a super good luck day, and since I was very close to having all the Omni Geodes I would need, I decided to head back into the Skull Caverns. I was inspired by my cooking session yesterday to dress up as our favorite desert dweller, and used a tomka soup I had cooked to tailor an oasis gown and a fairy rose to tailor a long dress that I dyed a matching blue. I also dyed my hair to be Sandy's signature red and picked up a lush rose at the Hat Mouse, since she loves flowers. At some point during my run, I noticed I had gotten another lucky ring. Neat. I also got more cowboy hats, but only the 2 colors I already had. My efforts yesterday had paid off, and on day 189, I took the 420 Omni Geodes I had and traded them in for the green turban and the magic cowboy hat at the Desert Trader. I gave Mr. Key 4 prismatic shards, and since I had also successfully completed his key crop quest, I had lots of key gems to spend. So I got the last crafting recipe I needed, the hopper, and 22 mushroom tree seeds, which I planted wherever I could on the farm. Remember, I still want that mushroom cap. I worked on improving my friendships with villagers and was able to get Penny, Maru, Marnie, Jody, Vincent, Haley, and Sam up to full hearts today. I paid the Statue of Uncertainty to reset my mining professions and gave Gingham the green turban, since she had been sporting the deluxe cowboy hat for quite some time. There were a few hours left in the day, so I started decorating my kitchen. I was so engrossed in what I was doing that I forgot the time and passed out. That night, I chose the miner and blacksmith professions, so I could finally start selling bars. Sam invited me to come watch his band's concert in Zuzu City on day 190. After completing my farm chores, which included shipping about 200 metal bars, it was back to decorating the house. I wanted a natural, jungly feeling, so I went to the Island Trader to get a tropical TV, a wild bed, and a few jungle torches. I couldn't swap the bed quite yet, since Prada refused to get up. She's spoiled. Even though my rooms were mostly only half finished by the end of the day, I was starting to get a better feel for what the drip household would look like. Day 191 was Taco Tuesday. That only really means that it was a Tuesday, and I put on a refined sombrero I bought from the Hat Mouse and tailored a tortilla shirt using, well, a tortilla. Tacos should be celebrated a lot more often. They're an amazing dish. I wanted to continue to work on friendships, so I handed out more gifts. Happy Taco Tuesday, Harvey. Don't mind me, George. I won't tell anyone about this weird mole. I accidentally stumbled into Elliot's book reading, Haley's photo session with cows, and Mara's robotics experiment. The house was getting more and more swaggy, which made me very happy. The year was slowly but surely coming to a close, and there were still quite a few things I was very close to accomplishing, but just weren't quite finished. One of those things was shipping 15 of every crop, which unlocks the cowpoke hat at the Hat Mouse. So on day 192, after picking up Key's Danger in the Deep quest again, I bought and planted more red cabbages and beets, because those were the last 2 that were missing. Other than that, I just continued to put down bits and pieces in my house. This bigger room on the right is shaping up to be a sitting room, where you can sit and read and look at the fishies and the hats on the sea urchins. How quaint. Even though I was still loving my tortilla outfit, I felt like it was time to put on something a bit more autumnal again. So I tailored a pleated skirt with a poppy that I dyed orange, a green buttoned vest from a spiceberry, and decided to finally put on my magic cowboy hat. I looked very spiffy, which made it even more sad that I had to do the boring task of kegging more stuff. But at least I stood out in the crowd at Sam's concert. On the island, I tried to catch some fish I needed for cooking recipes and was only semi-successful, but at least I got a flounder. By day 194, I had realized that I was missing a single morel to either finish the crafting or shipping collection. So after chopping down a few fully grown mushroom trees and not getting the mushroom cap, I went to see if the traveling cart lady was selling one. She wasn't. I harvested my forageables, then found my first ostrich egg in the auto grabber. Yay! I shipped it, putting me one step closer to completing my shipping collections tab. It would be winter soon, and I wanted to have my farm looking pretty before everything was covered in snow, so that's what I worked on for the rest of the day. If I could wish for one thing in the 1.6 update, it would be to have a few more varied decorations. Don't get me wrong, I love the plants and seating arrangements, but variety is the spice of life, especially on Drip Farm. The rest of my mushroom trees were fully grown on day 195, and I got the mushroom cap literally from the first tree I chopped down. Of course, I wanted to put it on right away and paired it with the green flannel shirt I had tailored from a super meal. If this outfit doesn't scream fall to you, I don't know what to tell you. Massive amounts of starfruit were ready to be picked and replanted on the island. I shipped a fish roe and the last morel I had, the final 2 things needed for my shipping tab. It was the night of the Spirits Eve festival, and after last year's mishap, it was the Spirits Eve festival, so I wouldn't be allowed into town, meaning I couldn't tailor an outfit on the day specifically dedicated to dressing up. What kind of designer am I? I had come prepared, with a pumpkin head from the Hat Mouse. Happy Halloween, y'all! Day 196, I woke up to the full shipment achievement. It was the last day of fall, and I wanted to keep the mushroom cap I had worked so hard on for a bit longer, so I switched back into it. It was also a Sunday and the last day I could complete Key's Reset Mines quest. So after unsuccessfully checking the traveling cart lady to look for a morel, I went to the desert trader to give them jades in exchange for staircases, then staircased my way down the mines. I was done by 8 p.m. and decorated a bit more here and there before winter. Tis the season to be swaggy. I tailored a coffee bean into a dyeable flannel shirt, bought the earmuffs at the Hat Mouse, then dyed my hair and clothes different shades of wintry blue. I was very close to being at max hearts with everyone in the valley, so I decided to hand out gifts to anyone I could. Happy birthday, Kroby! After watching Clint be real creepy with my wife on the set of Shane's commercial, I decided to invite him to the movies. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. He also decided to be weird with me, but I wasn't having it. No, Clint, we're not. And if you touch me, I will call the police. Other than that, I put down some of my crane game goodies around the farm, went to the island to pick up the Reset Mines quest again, and trade some of my key gems for a pair of Junimo chests. I was also able to pick and ship some beets. On day 198, more starfruit on the island farm was ready. After replacing them with pumpkin seeds I had left over from fall, I kegged what I could. I think I'll stop mentioning this stuff for the most part from now on, since it's kind of tedious, and a big part of achieving perfection is making 10 million G and getting the golden clock. So you bet that I'll be growing and kegging whatever I can. I got this most precious cutscene with Leo, who was adjusting very well to his life in the valley, then went to the Adventurers Guild to sell weapons and rings that had been piling up in my chests on the island. After that, I started making my way down the dangerous mines. That tiger hat was starting to give me sleepless nights. So on day 199, I tailored an officer uniform with glass shards, put on my official hat, and gave Gingham the swashbuckler hat, to show the tiger slimes in the volcano that we meant business.
Halt, sir. I know you're carrying goods that I must confiscate.
Unfortunately, they weren't intimidated, and none of them dropped the hat, despite my best efforts. Once I had gotten through the volcano, I warped to the mountains, and it was back to the mines. It's almost kind of sad to say, but the next 6 days were almost identical. From days 200 to 205, I fought my way through the volcano looking for that dang hat, but with no luck. I mean, I really tried. It was like Groundhog Day. Volcano run, then back to the mines. Volcano run, farm chores. Hand out gifts, volcano run. The only thing that did change from time to time was, of course, my outfit. First, I tried going with a hot pink shirt tailored from a poi and a star helmet made from a mushroom tree seed. I thought the islandy outfit might lure the slimes into a sense of false security, kind of like an undercover cop. I also even went the extra mile and bought the Cinder Clown shoes for 100 cinder shards from the dwarf in the volcano. When that didn't work, I put on the frog hat I had fished up from the Gourmand Frog's cave, turned a duck egg into a green jacket, and a prismatic shard into magic genie pants. Hey y'all, it's me, the Gourmand Frog. Me's hungry for some tiger hat who's growing one. Aw, come on guys. The volcano dwarf was selling the pink bow on day 205, so I traded my frog hat for that, but still, nothing. When I laid battered and broken in bed that night, after another unsuccessful volcano run, my perfect wife knew just the way she could cheer me up, by finally asking if we should adopt a baby. Of course I said yes. On day 206, I had to take a break from the volcano. My little heart couldn't take the disappointment anymore. Instead, I wanted to work on completing the crafting tab, so I tailored a blacksmith apron with a fiddlehead risotto and paired it with a mage's hat from the Hat Mouse. Look, there's no great hat for crafting, but maybe you could say I'm a magician at the workbench. Just go with it. Before I got to work, I made sure to give Sebastian a birthday frozen tear, completing his friendship. Then I just stood at my workbench and went through the list of recipes, crafting anything I hadn't made yet. By the end of my DIY spree, there was a single recipe I couldn't complete because I was missing that single ingredient. A morel for a life elixir. The only way you can get a morel, if you don't have the mushroom cave, is from the secret woods in spring, or if you're really lucky, from the traveling cart. So that's something I almost definitely won't be able to achieve this year. I spent that night going to the movies with Kent, who was one of the last 3 people I wasn't at max hearts with, together with Leo and the dwarf. I also decorated a bit more of the farmhouse. Oh look, another seating area. Day 207 was a super good luck day. You might remember that one of my goals is to have all my hats on display. My house was already quite full with fish tanks as it was, and I've also come to realize that sea urchins aren't as abundant as one might think. The only other option I have is to get more alien rare crows. So I drank a ginger ale, ate a spicy eel, and hit up the calico spin machines again. It was going okay, but I wanted a preposterous amount of key coins. So after a while, I decided to go make a pumpkin soup for more luck and eat that instead, since it gives you twice as much luck. It was worth it, and I immediately noticed an uptake in my wins, but it still wasn't exactly a fast process. I gambled for a real-life hour and even ate lunch while continuously mashing the same button over and over again. Once I finally got the jackpot, I had enough coins for 38 more rare crows. I asked Clint to open up some geodes I had lying around, getting the golden helmet, then started setting up my newest family members. It had gotten late, so I finished my personal Area 51 on day 208. As you can see, I also took the time to put a super cucumber in the hidden box behind Clint's shop to get Hntmguf. Oh my goodness, why does this make me so happy? I want to believe I truly do. I had 8 aliens left over that wouldn't fit, so I found nice spots for them around the farm. No amount of squinting will help you see the tropiclip on this alien's dome. This took up most of the day, but I had a few hours to do some more decorating inside, placing some tropical beds and this adorable monster garland into our future child's room. You know what's sadder than doing 7 unsuccessful volcano runs back to back? Doing 9 unsuccessful volcano runs back to back. That's right, I spent 9 whole days in the volcano without even getting a whiff of the tiger hat. There are only 15 more days in this year, and I wanted that hat, damn it. I mean, I got the living hat for crying out loud. Who do I look like, Tom Cruise? Am I starring in Mission Impossible without even realizing it? I'll give you an abbreviated version of what else happened during these days, but please be aware that the majority of my time is going toward this soul-sucking task. So, as you can see, I put on my coconut helmet and a magma cap I tailored into a magenta shirt on day 209. On day 210, I staircased my way down the Dangerous Skull Caverns, which netted me 40 more key gems when I reached level 100. I was actually planning on just staying there for the rest of the day to take advantage of the radioactive ore, and even got another Galaxy Soul drop from my beloved mummies, but I died on level 175. I still had some more time left in the day, so... Day 211, I picked up the 4 Precious Stones quest, which I was able to finish right away, then used my key gems to get the last Galaxy Soul I needed, as well as 3 more aquatic sanctuaries. I also tailored a Viking helmet with an ostrich egg and a fake muscle shirt with the muscle remedy. The hunt for the tiger hat ain't over till the fat lady sings. At least I was finally able to complete the goal of having fully enchanted tools and the infinity blade. Literally nothing cool happened on day 212. I got a night market painting and passed out while kegging more stuff. What novel adventures. I checked my perfection status on day 213. I was at 87% and still needed the golden clock, obviously, a few more friends, meaning Kent, Leo, and the dwarf, the last cooking recipes, and the 1 morel to be able to craft a life elixir. I also traded 30 terror roots for a bluebird mask at the island trader. Polly wants a tiger hat. On day 214, I tailored an Aeronite shirt to match my bird mask, then handed out 3 more gifts, getting Leo to full hearts. I also took the dwarf to the movies at 11 in the morning, but they seemed to like it. My fit changed yet again on day 215. I went with a goblin mask from the Hat Mouse and a tunneler's jersey tailored with pepper poppers. I like to think of myself as a linebacker Luke Goblin looking for the tiger hat, trying to tackle the thing out of him. Not that it helped or anything. Thanks to the 100th topaz I gave them, the dwarf was at max friendship. 2 down, Kent to go. I sold hundreds of gems and void and solar essences, as well as 996 coffees that were just piling up in my chests on day 216. It was a nice 300,000 G cash infusion towards the golden clock. Then, on day 217 and the last attempt at the tiger hat for now, I tailored a jester shirt with a pyrite and put a box on my head, because I'm feeling more and more ashamed of my fruitless and never-ending volcano runs. Apparently, I'm a joke to everyone, so I might as well dress like it. I put down all the fish tanks I had and filled them with any sea urchins I could find. I just couldn't bring myself to do another volcano run on day 218 and took a small break. I decorated my basement and was going for a cozy bar kind of vibe. I also kegged more ancient fruit, and Key's Prismatic Grange quest was up for grabs again. Then I spent the rest of the night placing more decorative plants around the farm. On day 219, I wanted some dignity for the umpteenth volcano run, so I tailored a red tuxedo with a red plate and put on the red polka dot bow from the Hat Mouse. Before I headed back to the volcano, I gave Kent a rabbit's foot, which put him over the threshold to max hearts, aka I had achieved max friendship with everyone. Yep, it's me. I'm back, y'all. Please give me that hat. Pretty please with a cherry on top? No? Okay. At least I was able to finish Key's Prismatic Grange quest. It was still a wonderful night because the adoption agency dropped off our baby girl. I named her Button. She and the ostrich have the same name because this child was just as much of a miracle as finding the egg. Definitely not because I had forgotten that I had already named the ostrich that. No. It was day 220, and I became aware that there were only 5 days left in the year. On the one hand, I really wanted that hat. On the other hand, I didn't want all of winter to just be me running through the volcano and being disappointed. So I decided to change my approach and got a slime hutch. My plan was to breed tiger slimes, kill them, hope to get a hat to drop, and if it didn't work, restart the day. Now, this doesn't mean I'll never have to go back to the volcano again, since I'll still have to kill tiger slimes for eggs at some point, but it'll be less desperate. But for now, I wanted to focus on something else for a change. First, I ate a seafoam pudding and fished up the Iridium Crobus statue, then headed to the ocean and fished until I caught a sardine, one of the last fish I would need to finish my cooking log. After marveling at little Button for a bit, I wanted to make her room nicer, so I decorated it a bit more. Perfect. Since day 221 was a really good luck day, I planned to head to the Skull Caverns. My iridium stash was starting to wane, and I wanted to sell as many bars as possible, seeing as I still needed that golden clock. So I tailored an iridium power shirt with an iridium ore and put on a Jen's cap from the Hat Mouse, since the color of the bow kind of matched. Plus, there were fewer and fewer hats to choose from. I was already blowing up rocks when I got the notification saying that the Feast of the Winter Star had started. I'm sorry, I have over 3.5 million G to make. I ain't got time to be charitable today. Day 222, I made a darkness suit with a wilted bouquet and put on the cat ears from the Hat Mouse. I am the godfather of the tiger slimes and will make sure they're all sleeping with the fishies by the end of today. But before it was back to my personal hell, I had another big starfruit harvest on the island to deal with.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I said you can't refuse it, dang it. On the morning of day 223, Marlin was standing outside my door to give me a slime egg for my slime hutch. I won't ever incubate it though, since I'll have to be very picky and only use the tiger slime ones for my plan to work. The fact that my slime hutch was ready also meant that I unfortunately knew what my day was going to be like. Before I headed back to the island, I tailored a sugar into a sugar shirt, since this face is exactly what I feel like at the moment. And I bought a whisper mask, which is supposed to massage your face. I need to relax, maybe this'll help. Oh no, the head clipping is giving me anxiety. Just breathe, Mimi, you can do this. This volcano run was doubly disappointing since I didn't get a hat or any tiger slime eggs. Gingham got the box hat, since she was also mortified. Day 224 and the last day of the second year. I learned the last cooking recipe from the Queen of Sauce, hugged my wife, then checked the traveling cart one last time in the hopes of getting a morale. In vain, of course. I used a spaghetti to tailor a sauce-stained shirt and put on the chef's hat provided by the mod to complete my cooking tab today. I was checking the missing recipes when I realized I was missing a single tomato for bruschetta. You've got to be kidding me. I bought a stupid tomato seed from Pierre, then planted it on Ginger Island. By that time, it was late enough for me to be able to get a squid I needed. After cooking a fried calamari, a dish of the sea, and a strange bun, I just needed that frickin' bruschetta. I used the strange bun to steal Ferogamon from Vincent's toy box, then took another look at the perfection tracker in Key's walnut room. 89%. I need a single morel, 1 measly tomato, and 3 million more G. Grandpa's ghost visited me that night and told me I had brought great honor to the Drip family. That's all I ever wanted to hear, Grandpappy. Since there's honestly not much left to do, and I'll probably be able to get the golden clock in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I've decided to get the job done and add a little postscript to this year in Stardew Valley. Here's how I reached perfection. On the first day of spring in my 3rd year, 4 candles lit up around Grandpa's shrine. I put on a tracksuit made of pancakes and a cool cap from the Hat Mouse. This ain't a marathon anymore. This is a sprint to perfection. There's no need for you to be ashamed anymore, Gingham. Grandpa's proud of us. After picking up the Statue of Perfection, I prepped my farm to plant the only crop I would be growing outside this spring, rhubarb, for max profits. I've kind of been unsure about when to call it, since my decorating is always a work in progress, and I keep adding things here and there, but I think that I can officially say I have achieved the goal of having a beautiful farm and farmhouse. Nothing exciting happened on day 226. All I did was tailor a shrimp shirt with the shrimp cocktail, because I thought it looked funny, then re-kicked tons more starfruits. I made over 1 million G with everything I was able to sell that night. I put on a banana shirt made with banana pudding and the mouse ears from the Hat Mouse on day 227. It was like the tropical chicken thing all over again, except this time it was a tropical mouse. But I actually immediately got a double slime egg drop from the ones on the western side of the island, which gave me the little boost of dopamine I needed to trudge on through the volcano. And although I couldn't find the hat, big surprise, I did get 2 more eggs, so I was pretty optimistic about my slime hutch plans. I set everything up and put my 4 little treasures straight into incubation. I achieved another small milestone on day 228. After putting on a white dot shirt made with a poppy seed muffin and a daisy clip, then dying during my volcano run, I found a morel in the secret woods and finally finished the crafting collection. I decided I want to collect some of the secrets from around the valley, so I started by fishing up a lifesaver from right here. The next day was boring. I put on a dripping cat hat, symbolizing me being pooped out from looking for the stupid tiger hat, and a fringed vest made from a chowder. I did this stuff again, yada yada yada, then fished up a foliage print you can get if you fish right here, and a squirrel figurine from this spot. I wore a sombrero and a bandana shirt tailored from a jasper on day 230. Robin built me 2 extra rooms free of charge and instantaneously, then I spent a little time finding some wallpapers and floorings for them. I wanted to hand in 12 leeks to Evelyn, since she had put up a special order to get some presents for George, when I had to prove that I had really meant what I had sworn to Yoba a few weeks ago. No, Alex, you're not worthless. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Oh god, another one. He's naked. Yeah, we're friends. I'll even give you a shirt I tailored if you promise to put it on right now. 2 male and 2 female tiger slimes had hatched on day 231. Then all I did for the rest of the day was staircase my way down the skull caverns without eating, since I had picked up Key's Hunger Challenge. It went extremely well, and despite the bad luck, I got 4 prismatic shards and 400 iridium ore. Day 232 was a money-making day. I crafted loads more furnaces to smelt through the iridium faster, then put on a blue charming ribbon and a shirt tailored with an opal. The longest train in the history of Stardew Valley was passing through and dropped exactly 11 stones and 5 geodes. What a thrill. The ancient fruit in my greenhouse was picked, and after refilling all my kegs, I crafted 34 more that I added to the quarry and filled them up too. My wine and iridium bar haul netted me over 1.6 million G that night, so only 700,000 G to go to be able to afford the golden clock. On day 233, Button was finally more than just a slumbering ball of pixels. Hello, my precious swaggy protege. My slimes had already gotten it on and had a little baby of their own. I kind of feel bad about my plans to just slaughter them all. It's a good thing they're oblivious. My tomato was fully grown, and I put on a chef's coat made with an escargot and a cake hat from the Hat Mouse to cook my final dish, a bruschetta. Day 234, I picked up Key's Crop quest again. Not to complete it, but to get access to the crops, since there's a mask I forgot to make the first time around. I got 2 more tiger slime eggs, then fished for the Physics 101 painting at the forge. My new painting went here, right behind another extra large fish tank. By the way, I've been looking for sea urchins whenever I can, but I just can't find any. My hats are starting to pile up in my chests again, and those sea urchins would really come in handy. Day 235 was just spent fishing up more of the game's secrets. I got the ornate necklace and the Vista painting from the bathhouse and the wall basket from the pond in the secret woods. Day 236, I changed into a girl's hat and a pink shirt tailored with a salmon dinner, and also dyed my hair pink to look a bit more springy? Vernal. Apparently I wanted to look more vernal. I don't think I've ever heard that word before. After another disheartening volcano run, I tried to fish up the pyramid decal in the desert, but didn't hook it. You want to know how I celebrated my egg festival this year? In the volcano, wearing bunny ears and a shirt with belt tailored from a limestone. Of course, this is a hunt I have been losing at for the past several months, so no tiger hat for me. I also knew that this playthrough would be coming to a close very soon, so I took the 4 prismatic shards I still had and tried to tailor them into the last 2 prismatic pieces of clothing I didn't have yet. The prismatic shirts with white and dark sleeves. I did get the one with dark sleeves, but the others were all just repeats of things I already had. Oh well, dark sleeves are cooler anyway. The Junimos and I picked my rhubarbs on day 238. Good job, team. Then I put them in my kegging chest. In hindsight, I don't know why I didn't just sell everything I had in there. It's not like I'm gonna have to keg it all again. I also fed the trash bear, who wanted an anchovy, a herring, spaghetti, and an espresso. He drifted off into the night, cleaned up all the trash, and gave Dusty a glow-in-the-dark steak. If you don't think my outfit for day 239 is adorable, we might not be able to be friends. I'm a little glowing teddy bear. Then it was go time. My wine was ready, and since I'm also as smart as a stuffed animal, I also refilled all the kegs. There was even a leak at the bus stop, the last one I needed to pick up to get Evelyn's wonderful coffee maker. I knew I would be able to achieve perfection tomorrow, so I spent the rest of the day working on my plans for the grand finale. But you'll just have to keep watching to find out what that means. I wanted to be ready for the fanfare, so on day 240 I wore a party hat I got at the Hat Mouse and a magic sprinkle shirt tailored with a rock candy. My plan for the day was simple: kill the family of tiger slimes in the slime hutch for a chance at the tiger hat. If it didn't drop, I would reset the day and try again. Only then would I buy the golden clock with the 10 million G I now had in my pockets. I'm so sorry, y'all. Just shut your eyes. It'll be over soon. I restarted the day numerous times, and at some point, I thought it might be helpful to use the last rock candy I had for more luck. So I decided it was best to go get the candy and sleep another day before buying the golden clock to not have to run to the chest and get it after each reset, instead having it ready to go in my inventory. Ooh, a new baby piggy. Let's call her Pantyhose. Day 241 still says 240 because I was shell-shocked. I realized that I had slept after killing the slimes.
No!
Without making them respawn. I couldn't believe it. I even went to go look in the slime hutch just to be sure, but of course, they were all gone. My garb doesn't fit at all anymore. This is the worst celebration I've ever been to. To quote the late great Leslie Gore, "It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you." I did some thinking. It would take way too long to get the whole slime hutch plan to work again, and honestly, I just wanted this whole thing to be over. So I decided to eat the rock candy and give the volcano one final go. I almost certainly wouldn't get the hat, but I felt I would be able to let go and end the series, knowing I had given it my all. I felt more and more defeated after every slime I slayed. And then it actually happened. Look! This is dramatic storytelling at its finest. I immediately put on the most valuable piece of clothing I would ever own, dropped out of the volcano on floor 5, and went to the wizard to get the last piece to the perfection puzzle. Then I took care of the last preparations for the Swaggy ending tomorrow. Day 242, the day I finally officially achieved perfection. I hugged my wife and baby Button, then warped to the island to pick up the only hat that would be good enough for today. Concerned Abe's head. After giving him the tiger hat, I put on a yellow suit tailored with a banana pudding and dyed my trusty farmer pants a nice yellow to match. Gingham and I were looking fresh when we galloped to the summit to find Emily there, waiting to celebrate with us. It was touching to see all the little sprites of everyone and everything we had encountered. Alex, who I hadn't grown to like, but accept for who he was. The sheep, the pride of my animal collection. The tiger slime that gave me the most spectacular ending to the Tiger Hat saga. The mummy, which had kicked off my whole tailoring pursuit. And Grandpa himself, who inherited Drip Farm to me, where I was able to rise to my full potential. I spent a few moments looking out over the valley before I left to kick off the last celebratory event of this playthrough. Welcome to the runway. I proudly present all of the outfits I was able to tailor but haven't been able to show off yet. I'll give you the total drip count at the very end. While this footage is still rolling, I want to thank you all so much for watching this series. I just wanted to try my hand at making videos and never really expected many people to see it. The fact that you guys have taken the time out of your day to watch, like, comment, and/or subscribe to my dinky little channel means the world, honestly. I'm already itching to start a new 100-day series with a different shtick and have a few ideas, but definitely let me know if there's something that you would want to see. Again, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye, y'all.